Here they come. Here they come, yo. Here they come. Here they come, yo. Here they come. Here they come, yo. Here they come.
It's time for Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Quick pitch to Walter, looking for the record, cuts back, he's got it, he's out of it at 25 and the 26-yard line. Walter Payton becomes the National Football League all-time leading rusher. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship. Chicago has won the Stanley Cup. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series. A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, go to Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this House Music Monday edition. Man, it is phenomenal to be back, guys. I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. Man, we have a phenomenal show. You see, I got my new house head t-shirt on from my guy, John Gear. Man, this is awesome. A lot to talk about. Listen, guys, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. Now, you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at SM_mornings, at SM_mornings. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. Want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the Snap Out. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. And if you do it just for the gram, you can follow her at Maya_Akai. It's MAYA_AKAI. Guys, I will be remiss. What's he wearing over there? What's he wearing? All right. I would be remiss if I didn't bring in my guy, the Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife himself, the man behind the curtain, the guy who makes it all run, the one, the only, Ivan Vargas. Ivan, what's up, Papa? How are you?
Good morning, Shawn. What's up? They avoided a sweep yesterday. Thank God.
Yeah, you did. Man, yeah, you missed. We missed it by
I know.
Bases loaded.
Dude, there's nobody bigger like this. That whole series, there's nobody you need to talk about but Jose Abreu. Like that's it.
Who's that?
Oh, that guy? Yeah, that guy. You saw my text, right? When I was like, thank God they finally got him out. It was like right after his 4th home run in a row the next day. I'm like, they finally got him out. But the Sox played well. I mean, like I said, those first 2 games, I was expecting. I mean, actually, that game 2 was pretty close. I mean, it was pretty good. You don't expect the guy to hit 3 home runs.
No.
You know, that's my thing. You don't expect the guy to hit 3 home runs. So it's like you take away a couple mistakes to Jose Abreu, and you're either tied or you're down 1 going into the 9th. You know, it was a good series. I thought it was fun. The White Sox obviously had the upper hand, but shit, there's next time.
Yeah, there is. And the next time, Ivan, is going to be the final series of the regular season where playoff positions could be up in the air, could be in the balance. So we're going to find out. Hopefully for you guys will have the NL Central locked up. Hopefully for us, we'll have at least the 2nd best record in the AL Central. Maybe the 1st, who knows? But we're probably going to be jockeying for position just because the Twins aren't going anywhere. The Indians aren't going anywhere. So it's going to be a big series, most likely more for us than for you, but it's still going to be a great series. The last 3 games of the regular season, moving on. So man, it's awesome. Listen, we got a great show for you, but I need you to get interactive with it today. So do me a favor, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, well then leave us a question or comment right there on the post, and I'm going to put it right up on the screen as long as it's not stupid, and you'll check it out. Listen, or if you're watching this on the app, and listen, I cannot ask you and tell you more vehemently, download the app. Okay, wherever you, Google Play, iTunes, Amazon, wherever you get your apps from, please go download the app. Please check it out. We're an app-centric platform. You can check us out on all of our live shows. You can check all of our podcasts, all of our blogs. We have tons and tons of different sports articles, ranging from Bears, Bulls, Cubs, Hawks, Sox, all of them. Check out the app, SportsZone Chicago. It's free 99. Doesn't cost you a damn thing. If it's free, take 2. All right, but listen, I got to bring in. Oh, I got to tell you who we have it on. What's one? I'm so fired up about House Music Monday and the White Sox this weekend. I almost forgot protocol. 9 o'clock coming up next. We'll bring him on now. Let's say, what it is. It's our guy. He works for the Chicago Crusader, and it's always good to talk to him. Man, you can follow him on Twitter at ACA Joe. Guys, bring on our boy, Joe Phillips. Joseph, what's up, Papa?
Good morning, Papa. God bless.
How you doing?
I'm blessed, man. Blessed, man. Just long night last night. Had to finish up 3 stories. I didn't finish until 3 this morning. So had to watch the game yesterday. And long night last night. But other than that, got everything done. Ready to roll.
Yeah, the long night last night for me too, bro. I didn't get done. I was drinking at my buddy's restaurant last night. And well, dude, I'm telling you, this guy is a punk. This guy is a punk, Carlitos. So they purchase bottles of his company. His family makes tequila. So they have a face, so they have their own tequila. He put bottles of tequila on the bar, bottle of Jameson on the bar. I was like, come on, man. Come on. Because it was the last night. He's moving locations, and they've been at that location for 47 years. And so obviously it was a big, it was an emotional moment. So he had a lot of the guys from Output who he goes, he hangs out with. There are a good 12, 15 of us there. And man, it was insane. I didn't get to bed till 12:30. I didn't think I was going to make it to CrossFit, but no, actually, I knew I was going to make it to CrossFit because I had to, because I didn't make it to CrossFit on Friday because of them on Thursday. So I had to make it to CrossFit. So it was a long night for me too, Papa. A long night for me, but we're going to get it done. And I'm so fired up about all the stories we're going to talk about. And man, oh man, I can't wait. Listen, so guys, Joe's with us, from 9 to 10 every day in the top of the morning segment. But 10 o'clock, Kenneth Davis is going to join the party. He's from the That's Davis show. And then at 10:25, the man, the myth, the legend, Scott Merkin from MLB.com, who covers the White Sox for the past 18 years. He's going to call in. We're going to talk and get a White Sox perspective on how he thinks this 3-game set went over the weekend. Scott Merkin at 10:25. 11 o'clock, Jason Palmer joins in. He worked for the Chicago Crusader as well. He's going to call in and close out the show with me. But also at 11 o'clock, Larry Hawley, sports producer for WGN, is going to call in, is going to join us as well. So we have a very, very big show, and he's going to give us a Cubs perspective on it. So very, very, very packed show today. And so we got to get it moving. You know how we do the first segment of every show. It's called Top of the Morning to You, and these are the hot topics of the night before, or just some sports in general. And boy, oh boy, do we have some doozies. Guys, the Top of the Morning segment is powered by the Chicago Crusader, which is why we have our boy, the sports editor himself, on with us, Joseph Phillips. And the first Top of the Morning topic, man, oh man, oh man. Which way do we go? Which way do we go? Which way do we go? All right, we'll do this. No, I don't want to do that one, the first one. You know what? The bosses, that's the one they put first. We're not going to do that the first one. All right, we're going to flip the script. All right, that's what we're going to do. You know how they do? You're in the club.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo.
Oh, the Crosstown Classic this weekend took place Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The White Sox, with emphatic victories on Friday and Saturday, took 2 out of 3 from the Cubs. And let me tell you, the Southside Hitmen have returned. The Southside Lumber Company is open for business.
Yes.
White Sox were in fuego this past weekend, taking 2 out of 3 from the Cubs. I'll tell you what, there's one man, I even said it to begin with, because there's only one person to talk about this whole series. What, 8, 9, 10 home runs? No. He had 4 home runs, 4 consecutive at bats, the last 3 in Friday's game, or I should say the last 3 in Saturday's game and the first one in Sunday's game. I'll tell you what, Jose Abreu is on fire. Give me your thoughts, Joseph.
Wow. When I'm talking about on fire, I mean on fire. And in spite of the COVID-19 pandemic, Chicago White Sox and the Cubs battled it out in a 3-game series over the weekend at Wrigley. Now, the White Sox did take 2 or 3 games from the Cubs and used 12 home runs and 33 hits to earn both their 16th and 17th win of the season. Now, in Game 1, which you mentioned, which one of the 3-game series, the Sox dominated us 10-1, and Jose Abreu put on a show in Game 1, and he hit 2 home runs in that Friday night game. Then he came back on Saturday, which is the game I actually covered, and I watched him live, raw, and in power, smash 3 home runs and put the Cubs away in the 7-4 victory. And it kind of just showed me, which is what we talked about on Friday, that the Sox was going to get up for this series, and they were going to try to make a statement. And I think at the end of the week, they actually accomplished their goal.
You know, all the runs from the for the series for the White Sox came courtesy of the long ball, which is an interesting thing. Ivan, didn't I not tell you? Joseph, didn't I not tell you? You're going to have to win small ball. You're going to have to be able to score and manufacture a run. The fact that they didn't bunt the ball at all this weekend pissed me off. The fact that they lost 2-1 yesterday to Yu Darvish when they had plenty of chances to bunt and move the guy over, get base hits, that pissed me off. I get it. I believe you me. I understand that the Minnesota Twins won the division, hitting 850 home runs last year, and we could probably do the same. But I want to make us more potent, more well-rounded, because you get Tim Anderson on the bases, you get Luis Robert on the bases, you get Yoan Moncada on the bases, and hell, even Jose Abreu is a good base runner. You need to be able to produce runs. That's what they didn't do yesterday. When you got a guy who's dealing, and when we had on Andy Cruz Vanasek on Friday, and I told her, I said, man, I am really concerned. I said, we have to split the first 2. I said, because I don't trust Yu Darvish. Yu Darvish scares me. Yu Darvish scares me because he's pitching like he realized he's the best pitcher in the bigs right now.
I'll wait for you. Let's wait to talk about you. Let's talk about you guys first. Let's wait to talk about you because I am. But
what I'm saying is like when you got a pitcher who's pitching like that, you have to be able to force him to feel his position, which he's very good at. But hope he makes a mistake. So you got to bunt. You got to get him over. That's what you have guys on his team that can do that. Do it, especially in a 2-1 game when your pitcher's dealing. All right, move up in the box, lay down a bunt, play some small ball. You only needed 1 run. You only needed 1 run. And granted, I am happy that the Southside Lumber Company is back open for business. But you have to be able to score on small ball at certain particular points, especially when you have the roster, especially when Yoan Moncada is struggling. Get him on the base pass. Let him lay down a bunt. Get him on the base pass. Make him part of the success, even though he's not doing well at the plate. If he can contribute in the field, if he can contribute on the base paths, that makes him part of this, and that'll bring him out of his slump much sooner.
Well,
go ahead, Joseph.
No, I thought you guys played an excellent series. You know, like I said, there was no games given away. Y'all made us earn every inning. Y'all made us play super hard. Now, yesterday with Yu Darvish, like I said, just like you guys had your opportunities, we had our opportunities too. At one point, we had bases loaded, even though
nobody out.
We're not going to talk about that. But we end up, Schwarber ended up coming through in the clutch in the bottom of the 6th inning. But in spite of that, we all had our opportunities. Even in Game 2, we had our opportunities and a few base running errors, a few bonehead mistakes, guys just doing too much, not just sticking to the plan, So you can win and lose games like that. And just so happened yesterday, the shoe was on the other foot, and we had a great pitcher performance from the man himself. You know it, Mr. Yu Darvish.
Oh, he was amazing. He was amazing. Going back to like Luis Robert and Abreu real quick. Like Lubov had a good series. I just thought he got dominated by Yu Darvish that last game. Like the first 2 games, he hit well at 2 home runs. I mean, you can't say that he was having a bad outing, but 2 home runs is good. That 3rd game, he just looked dominated by Yu Darvish, and Yu Darvish was on fire the entire day. I mean, not the entire day. Maybe the first couple innings, it was a little shaky with that. With his slider, and then all of a sudden, that thing was making a left turn. As soon as it got to the plate, like I was hearing, I think it was Len Casper and Ryan Dempster yesterday. It was talking about that ball is getting to the plate and then just I'm out of here, gone. Like it was just disappearing. He was electric. He was on fire. He was pumped up. He was yelling. You were hearing like him exude like some type of like some sound, and he was giving you emotion out there on the mound, and you don't see that from you, Darvish. And he was giving you quality pitching. I mean, not more than quality pitching. He was dominant. Yeah. He was dominant after missing to Jose, who's been on fire. You know what I mean?
He didn't miss Jose, dude. He didn't even miss Jose. It was right there. It was right there. Below the knee. And Jose went and got it. So, and that's why if you saw him, dude, Darvish just like, he just smiled. He's like, what can I do? I'm going to roll the ball. Any lower, I'm going to roll the ball to Jose Abreu.
Shawn, apparently right now, anywhere in the vicinity is missed. Anywhere in the vicinity for Jose is a missed target. But going back to you, that was it. That was it. He settled down, and it was lights out from there. And I love seeing the emotion. I love seeing the emotion from you. He wants it. He wants to take that role. He wants to. I mean, I know we got Hendricks and we got you, Darvish, but that's a good problem to have. If you got two guys you can march out there, especially with Hendricks with the experience, and now you with his dominating stuff. That's good to see. That's good to see. What I didn't like was Yoan Moncada's. I guess his last at bat I really didn't care for. I didn't believe he was going to get a hit. That's what I would say.
I didn't either. You know why? Because they jacked with his head. That officiating sucked, and it sucked for both sides. Not as much for us, not much for you, for us, but you guys were the recipient of some really horrible calls as well. That strike zone was extremely inconsistent. It was god freaking awful. And it was. So if you're gonna give that low strike, okay. And I was talking to somebody. I met up with a buddy yesterday over at Guide's on the south side. Shout out to Joe Guide, and a place I've been to many a time. So I'm sitting there and I'm talking to a Cub fan who was not very knowledgeable, and he was like, "Why is he swinging at this?" And I'm like, "Oh God, now I got to deal with a dumb Cub fan." Okay, that's fine. And I was trying to explain to him why he had to swing at those balls that were going out of the strike zone. I said because they're getting the low strike. They're getting the call of balls that are not at the bottom, not in the strike zone. They're getting called strikes. And so I said, so all you Darvish has to do is start it off at the bottom of the strike zone and have it tail out, and you have to swing or you're going to get rung up. And those low strike zones really, really, really messed with Jose Abreu. I mean, with Yoan Moncada this whole series. It really jacked with his head, and he didn't. For one of the few times in his career, I saw him with frustration and lack of confidence. And that was because of the crappy strike zone that the umps had, and the inconsistent, the low strike zone that they had. The bottom of the strike zone was extended, okay, and sometimes on the inside and outside was extended too. I forgot who is Contreras. I don't know if he got rung up or if it was just a pitch. I think it was just a pitch that was way inside, nowhere near the strike zone, and he got called a strike, and he was just like, no, as he took a step out of the batter's box. That really affects the game, affects the flow of the game, it affects the mindset of the batters, and it really is a huge advantage to the pitchers. Yeah, so I was really disappointed at the umpiring.
Watching that last at bat with Yoan, you just see it like in his eyes, like you could kind of see, like he was searching, like what do I do? Like how do I get this? Bases juiced? You know what I mean? Like you could take the lead, or you could take a commanding lead. Mm-hmm. You know, I just felt like he was searching. I felt like he was searching. I felt he wasn't in the moment, and he was more up here. I mean, that's just me from the outside looking in, but that's what it looked like. Is he was up here and he wasn't in the moment.
Yeah, I think the first two games, the Cubs were a little complacent. They didn't realize. I guess I saw a little fear there with the Sox lineup. It was really putting sorry about that with the truck. Second. Yeah, I saw a little fear in the heart of our lineup. It was a little quit there. I didn't like that in game one and game two. Also, I noticed that we didn't really make any good adjustments. We kept pitching to guys like, if at the Jose Abreu second home run, you got to start thinking, okay, should we walk this guy? Okay, And I'm talking about Friday night. Like after Friday night, if he hit 2 home runs against me, then Saturday coming, I'm walking them through the whole deck. Cubs chose to keep pitching to him, and he made us pay. This man ended up hitting 6 home runs in 3 days. You know, like, come on. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You keep pitching to this guy. It's the same thing with Luis Robert. You know that he likes that inside pitch. He can turn on it pretty well. Calvin Hendricks gave him one right in the inside of his hands, took it out the park. When I'm saying that, I'm sorry.
We're just lucky it wasn't a 2-run shot like it started off the first 2 days.
Exactly. It seemed like it was familiar patterns. And the Cubs, they were playing with a little fear in their heart. It was a little quit there until Sunday's game when I actually saw them compete with the at-bats and also compete when it comes to pitching. Because I noticed Darvish, when he got into trouble, he stepped off the mound a little bit, was like, okay, I see you looking at that inside pitch. We're going to change it up a little bit. Instead of going with this pattern, we're going to throw this on the outside. You see what I mean? So at the end of the day, kudos to the Cubs for making the necessary adjustments in Game 3. But that Game 1 and Game 2, we played with a lot of fear in our heart, and we got to change that.
I agree.
Yeah, it was until you see that power up front. You can watch it on TV all you want. You can read about it in the stats, and you can get your scouting report. But until you see that up front and personal, up close and personal, it's a scary thing.
Yeah.
You know, and that was similar to your lineup back in 15 and 16. You know, you had, and Fowler wasn't a home run hitter, but he could hit home runs.
Right.
Fowler would get on base. And then you had Chris Bryant. Then you had Anthony Rizzo. Then you had Javi. Then you had Schwarber. Well, Schwarber not just to the World Series. Then you had Contreras. So you had 6 guys in that lineup. Okay, well 5 because Fowler wasn't a home run hitter, but Fowler set the table. So 6 guys in that lineup that could do damage for you. And this with our lineup, that's very similar to that. We have a couple more guys, and they're mostly home run hitters. We don't have any slap the ball around the field. You know, I mean, I guess Nick Madrigal was going to be that guy until he got hurt.
Well, Mendick is doing a good job for you.
Mendick's doing really well.
I wouldn't be too worried. You know what I mean? Like missing a Madrigal for a minute. But I want to go to what you alluded to, Shawn. That power.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it with the Cubs. You're absolutely right. I've seen this before, and I've seen it with the Cubs. This power surge out of nowhere where you're just bombs away, and all of a sudden it goes dry, and it goes dry quick and in a hurry. And when it comes playoff time, like I remember that in 16, that Giants series, we were this close to going back to Wrigley to face Johnny Cueto. Yeah. And Johnny Cueto was on fire, and our bats we weren't able to hit Johnny Cueto, a lefty. You know what I mean? We weren't able to touch him. So when it comes to the Sox, it's great to have. Don't get me wrong. It's this isn't like bad mouthing because this is just amazing to see. You have to have that consistency other than hitting a home run because that home run once that well dries up for a little while, man, it could be slim pickings. You might not get. Some guys might be pressuring, might not get a hit for a week. You know what I mean? Like you never know what could happen. That's why you got to manufacture hits and runs other ways than the long ball.
Yeah, my wife and I were watching the game on Friday. We turned the game off after like the 3rd inning. We was like, we were just like, you know what? My wife was like, I can't watch it because I just converted her to being a Cubs fan since we got married. She didn't watch baseball before she met me. But,
okay. You didn't convert her. You just got her like the Cubs. Well, you converted her thinking that she was a Sox fan and went to the Cubs. Okay,
she could have been blindly following the Sox. Let's listen.
Well, she wasn't blindly following anyone. She was just she just watched baseball. Period. So I just brought her in, and she just developed a love for baseball. Awesome. So she's been watching these past few games of the Cubs, and I'm telling you, man, she's been having a headache. You know, we're going through these emotional roller coasters. I told her, I said, this is what I experienced for 40-something years.
Right.
Almost as a Cubs fan. So, baby, just get used to it. And I said, don't attach your emotions to this. Don't attach your esteem to this.
Yeah.
Okay? It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right.
Right. One of us. One of us. One of us.
The hammer. See, this is what happens. You know, never mind. I'm not even freaking go there. That's crazy. But yeah, you know what? I was really happy with the series. Ivan, you talked about, and I mentioned earlier, manufacturer runs. You can't just go for the God bless the home run. All right, they're coming in bunches, and you need to be able to use the speed you have. And this, remember, and I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, and some people looked at me funny, and I was like, you got to manufacture runs. You're not going to win, and all your runs are going to come off the homer. Although all the runs did come off home runs for the Sox, but you needed one more run for the sweep or two more runs, and you could have manufactured those.
And where did it go? With a guy like a Yu Darvish, with a dominating pitcher on the mound, you need to get manufacture those runs. You need singles. He's going to blow it by you if you keep trying to launch it. And I'm not saying that he was trying like that. The Sox are doing too much. I think Yu was just pitching amazing. Like
he was. That's how you got to get him off the square.
Yu was just pitching amazing. So right with that being said, you got to get him off his square some way, somehow, by any means necessary. And it could turn bleak real quick. Like I said, the playoffs, you're going to be facing guys. You're going to be facing top pitchers. Now I know it's expanded this year, so you might find some guys that are a little lesser of quality. I guess. I mean, no knock to them. They're in the major leagues, but they're not the dominating guys. They're not the guys that are on the top teams that are going to be, that you're going to be facing. You got to be able to put together runs against the best.
That's true. And like you said, from top to bottom, you guys, you got your leadoff hitter with Tim Anderson, who I think is the table setter, and like you said, the American League batting champion. In addition to that, you got the 2-hole hitter. Now you got to plug in that lineup, your situational hitters, to mix in with that power. And trust me, I'm telling you now, with the power that I saw display over the weekend, you guys are going to be a force to be reckoned with in the American League for a long, long time.
For sure.
Well, I hope that it comes to fruition, but I also hope that we get situational hitting and not rely exclusively on the long ball. I'll take it, but we've got to get singles, we got to get doubles, we got to get the merry-go-round going on the base pass, because we have people who can run, we have people who can navigate. The top three, the speed guys. Anderson, Abreu, and Lewis Robert. Even Eloy is a good first or third guy. Even Abreu is a very good base runner. Adam Engel, when you put in Adam Engel, late in the game, that guy is a good. Obviously, we know his speed. So you have speed on the base pass. We just got to use it. And this is why when people laughed at me earlier in the season, I was like, you're going to have to bunt, practice bunting, doing this. Like, wow, this team hits home runs. Yes, they do. But you have to be able to score in multiple ways. And the fact that we couldn't score yesterday against you, I'm telling you, that home run that Abreu had was sinking super fast, and he caught it below his knee. He caught that below his knee. That's why I'm telling you, Yu Darvish just laughed. He's like, dude, he goes, it's below your shin. It's shin high, and you golfed it. It's like a Vladimir Guerrero home run, and the only way lower I can get is to roll the damn ball to home plate. And and that's why he was just laughing, because he was like, he realizes Abreu is just in the zone right now, but right. we can't rely on that. We need to be more multifaceted and multidimensional, and we need to be more potent, especially in small ball. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we have more top of the morning topics. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Being joined with Joseph Phillips from the Chicago Crusader, my producer himself, the Wiz, Ivan Vargas. I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra. We'll be back with more top of the morning topics. Keep it locked right here.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
Now the 1-2. Schwarber drives one in the air, deep right center. Back goes Robert. This ball's got a chance. Gone. 2-run homer, Kyle Schwarber. Cubs lead 2-1.
Crosstown rivalry action on Sunday. The Cubs pick up the win 2-1 the final over the White Sox. Kyle Schwarber's 2-run homer in the 6th. The difference maker on the Cubs radio network. Yu Darvish improved to 5-1 with the win. He struck out 10 in his career-high 5th consecutive win. For the White Sox, Dylan Cease suffered the loss. He drops to 4-2. At Bears training camp, receiver Allen Robinson hurt his ankle on Friday. He sat out Saturday. That's when the team held a scrimmage. High marks for Nick Foles coming out of Saturday's practice. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at boomernaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
School goes on.
And Staples has everything you need to start the year right.
From notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to masks.
And all at amazing prices. This week, select one-subject notebooks and Staples 2-pocket paper folders are just 10 cents each.
Select notebooks and folders for a dime. That really is amazing.
Plus, you can shop in-store or pick up curbside. School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 8/22. In-store only. Limit 6. While supplies last. Curbside available in most stores.
Indeed knows that for any business, your next step is the most important one, like hiring someone who can make a real impact. Indeed can help you find high-impact hires faster, without any long-term contracts, and you pay only for what you need, thanks to our super flexible payment options. So why not take that next step with Indeed? Get started with a free $75 credit for your first job post and get in front of more quality candidates. Go to Indeed.com/high-impact. That's Indeed.com/high-impact. Terms and conditions apply.
Jose Abreu has been a one-man wrecking crew in this series. He is 6 for 9 with 5 home runs and 8 runs batted in.
Jose in the air, way back. Oh my goodness! Batman Jose is at it again, and Darvish can only laugh. This is outrageous.
Jose Abreu is some kind of locked in.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Happy House Music Monday, baby. You see it, Joseph. You see my new house head shirt?
You said you represent, dog.
Every Monday, baby. You know how we do. Shoot, man. I met up with a guy yesterday, the guy who makes all these shirts, John Gear. His company is called Chicago Gear. He's got a storefront. He's going to have a storefront in September, so you're going to be able to go. You and everybody else is going to be able to go and check it out. All the different things. He has Cubs, Bears, Hawks, all his house music shirts. Check it out. It'll be at his store opening up in about a month or so. I'm very happy for him. And he's going to make a killer, man. He's going to make a killer. He's got some sweatshirts. He got some sweatsuits. He's got some nice stuff. What do we got? We got oh damn. All right, David Burns. What's up, David? How you doing, Papa? Thanks. He's watching from Cedar Hill, Texas. You know, Armando Lara Jr. just became a grandfather. Him and his wife became grandparents.
Oh,
the son Armando Lara III just gave birth to Armando Lara IV. So, well, actually, his girlfriend gave birth to Armando Lara IV.
Yeah.
But just big shout out to Armando and his girl Jada on the birth. Big shout out to them and on the birth of Armando Lara IV. That's pretty dope. 4 generations is pretty dope.
Congratulations, guys! Congratulations, and shout out to my nephew John Hall Jr. J-No, who just came out with a clothing brand also called the Fruits of the Spirit. So he announced it last night, man. It's really nice, man. So keep up the good work, young man.
That's the truth. Listen, we have more top of the morning topics. Moving on, the Bears. Whoa, what the hell is happening here? NFL, get your act together. The Bears have false positive COVID test results, causing them to delay practice yesterday. And from, I think it was 8 o'clock to like 1 or 1:30. And let me tell you, this can't go on. This can't happen. Because if this happens on, say, for example, this happens on a Friday. Look at Kia. The Bears. Yeah, good. Look at that, my girl, Kia. If this happens on a Friday, say you get tested on a Friday or Saturday before the game, and then you can't play, and all of a sudden it's a false positive, this affects teams. This affects playoff positioning. This affects coaching decisions.
This affects game plans. That's correct. Yeah, and here we go again. Like I said, I think a lot of these tests are suspect. You know, some are politicized and some are true. So when it comes to false positives in the NFL, like I said, at the end of the day, in the beginning of the season, there were a lot of players concerned about testing positive for COVID-19. Now, with these false positive tests coming out, this is going to even add more concerns for the guys who had concerns in the beginning. So this is not a good look for the NFL. They need to get it together, because at the end of the day, if you're putting out false positive tests, not only are you putting fear in the hearts of the players, but you're also putting fear in the hearts of the families of the players.
Yeah, good call. I didn't think about that. Good freaking call. 9 tests taken by the Bears players and staff, administered by the Bears, and sent over to BioReference Lab on Saturday, came back positive for the coronavirus overnight. And so it turned out to be literally a false alarm. Yes, David Burns, it is COVID. They don't have COVID. There are false positive scares, which caused the Bears to move practice back yesterday from 8:30 to 9:30 in the morning to 1:30 in the afternoon. But the Bears weren't alone. NFL, according to Patrick Finley of the Chicago Sun-Times, said the NFL had said multiple players from at least 10 teams were found to have tested positive by BioReference's lab in Jersey. Okay. I think they came back with 77 total false positives. That can't happen.
77. Wow.
That can't happen.
Wow.
That
77.
can't happen.
That's a conspiracy theory right there, man.
I'm telling. I don't know what's. It's bad enough that you're dealing with COVID.
Right.
Okay. It's bad enough that there aren't going to be fans in the stands.
Right.
It's bad enough that major college players, 2 of the Power 5, aren't playing, and it's only a matter of time before the other 3 stop playing. The other 3 conferences stop playing. Mm-hmm. But you got the NFL who's playing, and you're testing these guys on a regular basis, and then you're getting false results, false positives. You brought up a good point, Joseph. It scares the hell out of families, because now, like, hold on, player. If the wife or girlfriend or someone else said, "No, you ain't coming around me and the baby," right? You better go get you a hotel room or something. Or right. You know what I mean? Because who knows? They may not have family close, the wife or the mother and the child. So are they going to hop on a plane? No. You want them to go get a hotel? No. You're going to keep them at home. So the players got to go. It causes a lot of problems. And this has got to be rectified soon, because in the regular season, it's going to have some huge ramifications. Okay, I'm so if I'm a team that I lost and I lose a playoff game, or what if you're in a Super Bowl,
right? And
you get tested, you know what I mean? A playoff or the Super Bowl, and you get tested, and one of your star players can't play,
right?
And then it comes back, it's a false positive. Man, I'm suing the hell out of that lab company.
Right. And also you could throw games like that. Like I was concerned about that even with the NBA. Like I said, I know they always trying to favor LeBron James and the Lakers. And I always saw that I was like, maybe one day when they get close to the championship, a lot of false positive tests is going to pop up with certain players so that they can't compete against the Lakers. And it seems like the same thing is going on in the NFL where, you got, I know the Patriots without Tom Brady this year, but you got teams that are on a come up, and if it comes down to it, when it comes to matchups, it can favor certain teams if certain players are tested positive, and even though it's a false positive, it can actually impact that game. So you have to be careful who you're allowing to do these tests, because they can be fans of the teams. So, I'm not saying it's a conspiracy theory, but it's just something just to look into.
I don't know if it's fans of the team. I just think that the tests are not very, very thorough.
Either not very thorough, or they're not something. They're not doing something. Either there's an accountability issue, or there's something. There's a breakdown in the process. I don't know. Are they storing them properly? You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
Are they being handled like in between places?
Here's one of the things.
Or what's going on?
Find out if that guy's a Jets fan.
Yeah, right.
So David Burns.
Angus, disgruntled Jets fan, just messing up all the tests. That's messed up.
So you see on the screen, guys. David Burns asked the question: was it true 9 players tested positive for COVID? That's not positive. Nine people in the organization. So they wouldn't say if it was players or staff. They wouldn't give that breakdown. But those positive tests came back false. Okay, and that's what stopped that's what delayed the practice yesterday.
They do not have COVID.
Thank you for the question. No, they do not have COVID. There were false positives that were given. Now, again, according to Patrick Finney from the Sun Times, said the Bears administer daily nasal swabs, so they go Q-tip to the brain, okay, to the players inside a trailer, inside a parking lot over at Hallis Hall. Then the tests are shipped out and they're returned. The results are returned in less than 24 hours. Said, but in cases like Sunday, the team administers rapid response tests that take less than a half hour to produce results. So I'm not a doctor, but maybe you want to stop those rapid results tests because they're giving rapid results, BS results, rapid BS results.
Are those the tests they're using? Is that the main one, or are there options? Is that they haven't are some players going thorough, or some players give me the rapid?
So the Bears, again, according to Patrick, it says the Bears administer daily nasal swab, and in rare cases, so they don't do the mouth swab very often, but they did Sunday. So maybe you may want to stop with the mouth swab and just stick to the Q-tip to the brain test. Yeah. Maybe I don't know. I'll have to make that 24-hour. You know what I mean? It's something you got to do. Right? You're getting paid millions of dollars. Give me millions of dollars. I'll get a Q-tip to my brain every day. I'm cool. I'm cool with it.
Dude, wow, the world is changing. It's definitely changing. Like I said, these tests, I'm already a little suspect about them anyway.
Uh-huh.
I know that like I said, some information is put out there too soon. I think that should be a waiting period before they release that type of information. And then two, at least it gives you a chance, to make a mistake and then put the information out there. You see what I mean? It's just like breaking a news story. You don't want to put the information out there too quick without all the facts, because it can cause, a panic. You don't want those type of problems.
Well, moving on, the next top of the morning topic, and Khalil Mack is a monster. The next top of the morning topic: the Bears sign another kicker in Cairo Santos. I wonder if he's related to Sierra Santos. Anyway, according to Jason Leisure from the Chicago Sun-Times, Eddie Pinheiro has not kicked in practice since the Bears started about a week ago. So the Bears signed Cairo Santos as an insurance policy. I think it's a smart move on their part. If for some reason this situation lingers, okay, groins are very tricky things. Let me tell you, I had a groin issue a couple of times in my career. They're very tricky, and this can last months. Okay, it can last weeks. It can last a week. Who knows? It varies. But you're going to want to have a guy who's familiar with the snapper and the holder. So now that you brought a guy in Cairo Santos, you brought him in, you get him work with that first unit, and if for whatever reason Eddie Pinheiro can't go or gets hurt or re-injures himself, you got a guy who's been with this organization, who's practiced and has reps with the holder, the snapper, and himself. And to me, that would be a very seamless transition to someone who's been there. And they'll probably put him on the practice squad, and we just have to hope nobody picks him up.
This is very unfortunate for the Bears, especially after the kicking fiasco that took place last season prior to the regular season starting. And now we're coming into a new season, and like you said, Eddie Pinheiro's down with the hamstring issue, And now we have another experimental kicker who pretty much not guaranteed to succeed. And this is another problem on the Bears list that we have to take care of. Hopefully we can sign, if this guy doesn't work out, we can sign a veteran kicker in the near future.
You know, kicking, that issue was solved a little bit for us with Eddie Piñeiro last year. But now that he's hurt, I'm a little concerned. This is a sore spot for us, Bear fans. After a couple of seasons ago, what happened? 2 seasons ago, what happened? We think we got the right guy now, but now he can't stay healthy. Is this a taboo position for us? Just like the quarterback position? I mean, although we had a great one in Robbie Gould for many, many, many years.
It's the golden curse. Is that what we got? I think that's what we
got. You're right.
The golden curse.
And he was this close to signing with us. Was that last season?
I think he was playing with San Francisco's pockets.
Yeah,
I think it was funny with the idea to play with to get the kicker up. You know what I'm saying? To get to up the ante. And he wasn't. I don't think he had an intent. Maybe he would have if they wouldn't have given that money. Maybe he would have. But I think he was. I think he was trying to run that money up.
Yeah, I think he was using the Bears as leverage. That's all. He loved it. He loves it here in Chicago. You see him in and around the city. Him and his wife still have a place here, and I think he was just using it as leverage. That's all. That's all. But you know what? Good move by Ryan Pace getting a kicker in here.
You said what? He did what? A good move?
Good move. Good move. He has some of those every once in a while. He does. Does not forget Tariq Cohen, Eddie Jackson, Jordan Howard.
I feel like all his for every great move or good or great move that Ryan Pace has had, he's had a player that equaled like a Bizarro player. Like he's had like a Bizarro Eddie Jackson, like an evil version of Eddie, a bad.
So Eddie Jackson should have been a first round pick, right? He was in the 4th.
Not necessarily like position wise, but like what I'm saying.
And then you had Mitch Trubisky should have been picked in the 4th.
Exactly.
First.
Yeah. Yep. That's how it goes.
That's a good call, Ivan.
Oh yeah.
Totally agree.
So it's I don't want this to be an issue. I want this to be seamless. My only question is, kickers are the most volatile players on the team. You got to get their head right. They are finicky. I played with some top-notch, all-league, all-American kickers, and they are just so damn. I don't want to finicky. There you go.
Because you got one shot, son. You got one shot. You only got one job.
That's it.
You only
Put
have
the ball
one
through the
job.
uprights.
I would be up the wall too. I'd be up the wall too. One job with a stadium full and 52 other giant grown men minus the players and coaches ready to just tear you a new one when you walk into the locker room after double doinking. I mean, I'm you know what I'm saying? Like, you get what I mean? Like I would be up the wall myself.
Hey, Shawn, did you have any kicker stories when kickers blew the game and the post-game reaction from the players, some of the worst reactions that you ever experienced?
No. Thank goodness. All my kickers, all the kickers that I had. It was a close one. My kicker actually he lives not too far from me. So
okay.
So it was it's so funny because I call all my kickers. Even when I coach, I never call them by their name. I just call them kicker. Just call them kicker. Like Dominic Kozlowski when I was at Curie, little Polish kid who could boot the hell out of the ball. He was the first team all city kicker his senior year. Never called him Dominic. Never called him Kozlowski was always kicker. And Jamie Clemens, the guy that I played with on the Thunder, my national championship teams. We played a team called the Kankakee Seminoles. They were a new team in the league, and they were hot. They were good. They were running rush shot over everybody, but they had never faced a defense like ours. And they had some good plays and whatnot. but it came down, and Jamie missed a field goal. Dude, I swear, I thought he was going to go on a Columbine spree. He was so mad. He was mad at the snap. He was mad at the holder. He was mad at everybody. Luckily, the defense turned the ball over. We got the ball back down in position, and he kicked like a 45-yarder to win the game. So a crisis was averted.
Wow.
He didn't lose the game, but for that, I don't know, 3.5, 4 minute span of the game, when from missed field goal to made field goal, yeah, he was insane. Not someone you wanted to be around.
He's my top 3 pressure jobs in sports. I got
because you sit there.
Sports referee, number 2, the kicker, and then number 3, I'll have to go with the I'll say a closer. Those are pressure jobs right there. Those are jobs that most people, I think you got to have a certain type of moxie to play those type of positions or to even do those type of jobs. Most of them, I really feel sorry for referees because I saw them actually get beat up in certain situations also. So between a kicker, a referee, and possibly, a closer, I had to go with the kicker.
Dude, because kickers, you're there. You just sit there all day. All right, you warm up a little bit. Okay, boom. You go back, you sit down, you warm up. Okay, extra point. Extra points are nothing. Boom, you kick your extra point. All right. And then all of a sudden, you got to make this to win a game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or all of a sudden, or it builds. And you're like, okay, we're down 2. We're down 1. And now and now you're watching. Okay, they're moving. And I got to get ready, but I also want to see what's going on.
Right.
And all of a sudden you have that one shot. That's it. And it's tough. It's tough.
Tough job. But when you're on, baby, you're on. You can say that. You can weigh 140 pounds and play among 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", 300+ pound men and still be productive in the NFL.
I'm telling you, man. Listen, we had some kickers. Pistol Pete Sabuco. We were talking, me and my guy Junior were talking about his name is Pete Sabuco. We call him Pistol Pete Sabuco. He had a cannon for a leg. My guy was like 5'6", 5'7". Had a cannon for a leg, dude. It's just insane. So yeah, it was, some small guys, and he was one of our best. We had Piero Seta. His younger brother ended up playing for Notre Dame. Nick Seta was a kicker at Notre Dame, and we remember him because we played when he was a kid. He'd always be on, be at our games when I played with the Chargers. He'd be at the games watching his brother, and he'd be kicking before the games or after the games. And this dude was kicking 45, 50 yarders in 8th grade.
Wow, 8th grade?
8th grade, dude.
Wow.
40, 45 yarders. And obviously no wind conditions, no nothing. It's a turf field, no pressure. But just the fact that he had that leg strength is what garnered him a scholarship to Notre Dame. So we've always had really, really good good kickers. And so let's move on. Next top of the morning topic. Hey, how about this NBA playoffs, baby? Luka Doncic. Dude, don't sleep on him, boy. I'm telling you, Luka Doncic is the man. He's a guy that I expected good things from him. I really, really did. But the level to which he plays, he is phenomenal. All right. Luka Doncic had a step back 3-pointer at the buzzer. Okay. At the buzzer. He to beat the Clippers 135-133 in overtime. All right, so now the series is even at 2 games apiece. Dude, he had 43 points, 17 boards, 13 dimes. Let me repeat that for all the people who didn't hear that in the back. 43 points, 17 rips, 13 dimes. This kid is out of control and out of control.
Wow, the growing legend of Luka Doncic, man. Let me tell you, I watched this guy play during All-Star Weekend in February. I mean, he put on the show for the fans, draining three-pointers from half court, calling his shots off the backboard, and then just an amazing presence on the floor, just knowing how to handle the rock, set up his teammates, and then also scoring off the dribble. I mean, it looks slow when you're watching it on TV, but all of his moves are calculated. Everything he does it with a fundamentally sound presence. And shout out to him yesterday, draining that step back three for the game winner against one of the top teams in the NBA, the Los Angeles Clippers.
Man, that was watching this guy play. When you see people like this play, you see how much fun he has. How much fun that he has. And I'll tell you what, I love it when I'm watching guys play their sport and you see how much happiness and joy they have truly playing a kid's game. And to me, that's one of the best things to see. And he damn sure looks like he's just first of all, like he's in a different world. Okay. Like he's in a different world. But secondly, he just has so much fun, so much enthusiasm, so much, he reminds me of a little bit of Eloy, but just not the too goofiness. He doesn't cross that line of being too goofy. You know what I mean? He just enjoying himself, having blast. Because don't forget, he was a professional at a young age.
Yeah, he's still a kid. Yeah.
Over there in Europe. He was a professional at 6, 7?
Yeah. He was 6, 7. That sounds like the Russians, brother.
The Eastern Bloc countries. You're damn right. But,
we're winning. We're all pros.
It was good. It was good to see him. And I'll tell you what, he is a force to be reckoned with. And I can't wait to see how much further they can go in the playoffs, because Luka's the man. Luka is the man. Well, listen, we got to get out of here. We got to take another break. Joseph, thank you so much for coming on as you do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with us. We appreciate it. And do me a favor, let everyone know where they can find you online.
Yes, please visit us at ChicagoCrusader.com. There'll be 3 stories this week. I'll be giving you guys a breakdown of 3 games that was played between the Chicago Cubs and Chicago White Sox over the weekend, one of the best series of the year. In addition to that, I'll be talking about the Jackson Park Wolfpack, their quest to counter COVID-19 and violence in the city of Chicago as they reach out to Mayor Lori Lightfoot and Governor J.B. Pritzker. And last but not least, I'll be doing a story on the Chicago Football Classic in their quest to give a van, a 16-seat passenger van, to HSI, and that's the Habilitative Inc. organization on Chicago's West Side. So tune in, check that out on ChicagoCrusader.com.
Great stuff, Papa. We will see you on Wednesday.
All right. God bless you guys. See you on Wednesday.
All righty. Guys, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, you know what time it is. It's Kenneth Davis time. My man, because sitting with us from the 10 to 11 o'clock hour. So don't go anywhere, folks. Kenneth Davis joining your boy, the Superback, up next right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
Now the 1-2. Schwarber drives one in the air, deep right center. Back goes Robert. This ball's got a chance. Gone. 2-run homer, Kyle Schwarber. Cubs lead 2-1.
Crosstown rivalry action on Sunday. The Cubs pick up the win 2-1 the final over the White Sox. Kyle Schwarber's 2-run homer in the 6th. The difference maker on the Cubs radio network. Yu Darvish improved to 5-1 with the win. He struck out 10 in his career-high 5th consecutive win. For the White Sox, Dylan Cease suffered the loss. He drops to 4-2. At Bears training camp, receiver Allen Robinson hurt his ankle on Friday. He sat out Saturday. That's when the team held a scrimmage. High marks for Nick Foles coming out of Saturday's practice. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at boomernaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330-95.9 The Zone.
School goes on.
And Staples has everything you need to start the year right.
From notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to masks.
And all at amazing prices. This week, select one-subject notebooks and Staples 2-pocket paper folders are just 10 cents each.
Select notebooks and folders for a dime. That really is amazing.
Plus, you can shop in-store or pick up curbside. School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 8/22. In-store only. Limit 6. While supplies last. Curbside available in most stores.
Indeed knows that for any business, your next step is the most important one, like hiring someone who can make a real impact. Indeed can help you find high-impact hires faster, without any long-term contracts, and you pay only for what you need, thanks to our super flexible payment options. So why not take that next step with Indeed? Get started with a free $75 credit for your first job post and get in front of more quality candidates. Go to Indeed.com/high-impact. That's Indeed.com/high-impact. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Just got off the phone. I just got off with our guy, Joseph Phillips from the Chicago Crusader, in our first segment, the top of the morning segment. Now it's time to move on to the next hour, and another good friend of the program comes and joins us. It's my man from the Davis Show himself, a Barry White voice, and I love it. And I can't wait to holler at him about this weekend, about them go White Sox, baby. Guys, you can find him on Twitter at That's Davis. Guys, welcome back to Shawn and Maya. Kenneth Davis. Kenneth, what's up, baby? How you doing?
What's going on? What's going on, Shawn, man? Happy Sox Monday to you, my brother.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we got to
I see you repping.
Today. We got to be official. I usually try to not be biased, but the full biasness is coming out this morning. It's almost had the complete dream this weekend with getting the sweep and even the threat that they had in the last inning. But the feeling that I feel like we have from, all right, this is like we as Sox fans and people that are in the media, quote unquote. I know Jose Abreu said that he didn't look at this as a measuring stick. Listen, give the Cubs their props. This has been one of the better teams, even though they have. Well, I won't even say they're slipping because they did pull those games out from St. Louis, unlike the Sox last week. But you went up against a real squad, and you took 2 from them, and you basically almost had 3 from them. You guys, hats off to the squad. Hats off to Jose Abreu. And one thing that, me and you haven't talked about, and I definitely want to talk to Scott Merkin about this a little bit later. Where are all the Jose Abreu detractors? Remember the people that were kind of like, they should trade?
Sign him. He's too old.
He's too old. Right. You know what? Where are those people at? All right, because I've always been.
You know what? They're in line waiting for their COVID test. That's where they're at.
All right, I got you. Because and again, listen, he's hot right now. He may go into a slump, and they may start coming back out of the woodwork. But I think we all looked at Jose and his totality as what he meant to this team with all these young Latin players having this newfangled Paul Konerko, the steady Eddie force in the lineup and in the clubhouse. Man, it was a beautiful thing to see Dylan Cease still trending up against his former team. Like he basically dueled with Yu Darvish yesterday, which was great. Yu did his thing for his squad. Look at you. Listen. Woo. Out there, dog, against the hottest team in baseball, the hottest hitters in baseball.
Shut him down.
All right. So at least, and look, I'll say this as a fan of Chicago, because like I tell you, I don't usually do full meatball mode anymore at my older age. It was good for both teams. It was good that the Cubs at least salvaged the victory going into this week, and it was good for the Sox if they had a feeling of, all right, can we really play with the big boys? And I'm not saying they did, but at least that there's some more truth to the fact of like, yes, you can get out here and put that whooping stick on those. But dude, that game Friday, right? It was so bananas. Right? It was like, What, dude? It was like, you know what that game was Friday? It was like watching Luka Doncic, right? Like, I don't know if you were watching the Clippers, the Dallas Maverick game yesterday, but like, I'm sitting on the couch, right? I have both my ladies, you know what I'm saying? The older lady and the daughter sitting next to me. They're asleep though, right? And I'm watching, and Luka drops that three, and I do like this. I go, ooh, right? He drops it, ooh. And I'm sitting there, and I just told the old lady, I'm like, you know, it's going to be weird having this Eurocat be the best player in the league the next seasons moving forward. And that's how that game Friday was. It was like you had, and you know how we feel about the Panther in my household. I'm like, stop everything, watch him. You had him kick it off, right? And it's like, oh, look at him, right? Look at the Panther, right? You had him kick it off, and then the whole team was like, oh, hold up, son. We all got something. Of course,
you ain't the only one in this joke who got it.
Oh yeah, we all brought the bats, right? We all brought the lucky bats from the South Side, and you were just sitting like, oh my god, like this game is a wrap, right? Dude, it's I hate to say it because it's the abuse, the being an abused Sox fan. It feels good, right? Coming out, you know what I'm saying, out the house. I'm rubbing my eyes, you know, like it's
beautiful day today.
Yeah, the sun is starting to shine. The sky is parting. You know,
birds are singing.
Yeah, dude. In this COVID situation. And so this is another thing too. I also wonder, and I want to ask Merkin about this. And let me ask you. I'll ask you, and I ask him later. Do you think that there was any benefit to the fact that the Sox did not start off from spring training, that they had this large gap, and then they had to join back together and they took off in this abbreviated season? Or do you believe, regardless of what happened with COVID, if there was no such thing as COVID, the Sox would have had streaks like, I mean, of course they would have had streaks, but been this good, had they started playing baseball right after spring training if there was no abbreviated season whatsoever?
That's a great question. You've been on fire with your questions, boy. I'm telling you.
I mean, because with a young team, you just don't know what tweaks are the things that benefit it sometimes. You know, like you kind of don't know. Like, what if they start off, and they did start off bad, but it wasn't as long. But what if how we usually say, wait till May? What if we waited till May and it was like, dude, they got like 12 wins in this joint? You know what I'm saying? And I mean, just also the fact that the pitching is healthier, like, because that's one thing you also have to give. Dane Dunning wouldn't have been there probably at the beginning of this year when you first started. You know what I'm saying? So at least you got a guy like him. I don't know if Cease would have started this season and been the same player. We know that Dallas Keuchel would have been fine regardless, and we know Gio was probably fine, but still, you know. So it's just one of those things that just crossed my mind looking at it because, dude, can I say like this sports weekend was like gut. And I mean, again, I have to say it again, dude. I didn't even watch any more basketball after the Clippers game, right? I was like, you know what? I think I'm done right now, right? I didn't see the Utah game versus Denver because the kid did me too nasty. I was just like, and I know we're talking baseball, but why was Reggie Jackson on that man? But I know we're talking baseball, but it was just so crazy. But yeah, this weekend, man, it's been a sweet sports weekend to be a Sox fan, for the nation to see, for the most part, this coming out party for people and to rediscover Jose Abreu and for him to start to get the props that he was getting 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like when he first got here. I mean, then to think about this. Thought about this too. The fact that people were like, oh yeah, you guys signed the largest White Sox player to a contract and he's never played in the MLB. You've never seen him against
$26 million.
Right? Yeah. You never seen him against Major League pitching. And out of those three Cuban guys, Cespedes and Yasiel Puig, he looked like he was the third best at times because this was before Yasiel Puig went loopy. And, you know, at first when he came up, it was like, wow, look at this talent. And Cespedes, when he was with the A's, it was like, check him out. But it was like Steady Eddie right here, Jose Abreu. And Steady Eddie is still here. And he's not just here, he's actually better right now. But to think that people kind of condemn the Sox for giving him that contract and he didn't want to leave. And that's another thing. It's kind of like Tim Anderson, how we have more of affinity for Tim Anderson because he lives here in the off season, right? And then so it gives you a feeling that he really gets it, especially when you're little brother. It's nothing worse than being the second team in the city and you want people to just ride with you. You know what I'm saying? And for Jose Abreu to be like, I'll resign myself. All right. Like, listen, I trust that you guys. It's also him saying, you know what? I trust in looking at what you guys are doing, that this is going to turn.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, like, because really, to be honest with you, they had given him no proof of that. They really hadn't, outside of the fact that, all right, check out this talent when it comes up. They had never given him any proof because they had been bad basically since Jose Abreu had came to America. So, man, it was a fun weekend. Man, did you go to Michigan this weekend? Because what? Can I ask you two questions after? Another question after that. Who are you without the goatee and who are you with the goatee? Because when I first got on, I was like, whoa, where's my goat? Where's the goatee?
Yeah, where's Shawn? Where'd he go?
Is this a different Shawn? Like, is that the sexier Shawn? Where it's like, I'm coming now. Like, if there's a goatee Shawn, like, define this for me so I know when I enter the room which Shawn I'm dealing with.
Okay. Understand.
This clean, smooth face Shawn.
Again, very, very great. Another great question there, Kenneth. Phenomenal question. Let me attack it this way. So the fresh shaven, the smooth shaven Shawn, okay, that Superback is the ever youthful one. Okay. The one I still want to go play base, still want to shoot hoops, still trying to get, play a little softball, just still act the fool, drive with my windows down, singing all the X-rated version, the unedited version, the unedited version down Lakeshore Drive, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? Can I get it? What? You know what I mean? I ain't seeing it go, nigga. I'm just yelling and screaming, acting a fool. Okay. And the other one with the goatee is a little more calm, sophisticated.
Okay.
A little more kind of borrow your Grey Poupon, Shawn. So, I could flow, you know what I'm saying? We got to meet some people this week. All right, is it a big meeting? Okay, we'll go with the sophisticated Shawn.
Okay. When you're repairing the credit, so that's when you're repairing the credit. That's Shawn right there. Like when you
that helps. So like, he must know what he's doing. He has gray in his beard, and you like
wisdom.
That. Like that. See, there you go. On the way to a credit appointment, like me and Pachanga, me and Luis Guzman.
Did you go to Michigan?
This weekend, no. So I'm probably gonna go during the week. I'm thinking about going Wednesday, right after the show. Get up on the beach. And one is gonna be like a hell of a lot less crowded. 2 is gonna be 90 degrees, and 3 is gonna be a hell of a lot less crowded. So I'm loving that. So I go Wednesday. Get up there, spend a couple hours at the beach on Wednesday. Wake up Thursday, since we don't do the show on Thursday, and I don't go to CrossFit on Thursday, and just head right to the beach. Stay there till like 2 or 3, and then come back.
That's
Thursday.
a good week. That's a good week.
Yeah. And then any kind of stuff I can do it from over there as well.
Remotely. Unfortunately, that's a good thing about the situation that we're in. So this weekend, let's start off Friday, man. So when did you start getting that feeling from watching the game on Friday? Like, tell me the different days and how you were feeling about the Sox Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
I was nervous Friday, just because John Lester is on a bump, and I know John Lester is not the same John Lester that won a World Series, but he's a cagey veteran, and he understands the rivalry. And I just didn't want to get Chicago White Sox again by my White Sox. You know what I mean? When they like the Detroit Lions will Detroit Lion you. Just when how you feel.
Yes, this could have went the other way.
And I was nervous. I'm like, here's the shot for us to we already came on national TV on Sunday with the Cardinals because the Mets and Yankees game got canceled last week. So the nation's seen us. And now here's a chance now the nation has seen us. Okay, this is like when you go away and a whole bunch of other people like you, but then the people in your neighborhood like, who you still
right?
You know what I mean? Who likes you? What? So we were able to get back at them, but I was nervous. And then that first home run, I was like, every home run after, I was like, I didn't celebrate. I didn't celebrate till it was like way in hand. And then because remember we had Andy Cruz on Friday, and I was like, I said we need to split these 2 games. The first 2, I said, because I don't trust Yu Darvish. This guy is going to come out and just throw a gem. I am scared of Yu Darvish. And she said, why? I said, because I said, ever since he found out he doesn't really suck and the Houston Astros didn't just tee off on him without cheating, I said, he's been a completely different person. I mean, this guy is literally a legitimate, or he's the front runner for the Cy Young Award right now. And I don't want to have to go into that game, but that being the rubber match. And so I was nervous Friday, and as they kept hitting homers, I was like, whew, okay, good. Then Saturday, I'm like, man, dude, okay. And then, see, it wasn't a 1 o'clock game Saturday. We could wake up, do our thing, and right into it.
Yeah.
It had a stew. It had a stew a little bit. Yeah, it was simmering. I was like, man, dude. I went to the flea market. I went to La Garra. I went to a couple places, had some errands. And the whole time, like, don't think about it. Don't think about it. Because I'm just going to get, I'm just going to think, because who's pitching for us? Who's pitching for us? Who's pitching for us? Oh, man. And then once we started scoring again. I'm like, okay. Okay. Then a break. And once the final out was had, because I was texting Andy throughout the game, and I was like, whew. I said, now I can think about a sweep. I said, she goes, well, what about you? I'm like, you Darvish, I thought you were scared. I'm like, oh, I am scared. I said, I'm very scared. I said, but if we lose tomorrow, I'm good. 2 out of 3. It says,
rightfully so.
You know what? And I'm happy that the White Sox didn't give up. I'm happy they didn't say, you know what, the hell with it. We won 2 out of 3. No, you was just dealing. You was just dealing. And when you come up with against a hot pitcher like that, and I was telling Ivan this, and I've said this on the show before, this is where you must implement small ball. You have the men to do it. You have Tim Anderson. You have Yoan Moncada. You have Luis Robert. Okay, guys who can run around the bases. I know you want to hit home runs, but when this guy is not allowing you to hit home runs, then you need to put the ball in play and take another weapon out of your repertoire, and that's speed. Get your ass on base. Okay, make him feel his position. Okay, make him feel his position. What if he comes off and tweaks a groin? Oh, now he's out. Bingo. Now we get to the bullpen. Okay, and not that I wish injury on anybody, but so many crazy things can happen, especially when your pitcher coming off, because you know that Tim Anderson, Luis Robert, and Yoan Moncada are burners, which means you got to get to that ball quick, and you got to get that ball over the first, which can lead to you not planting your foot properly, tweaking something, And we got small ball. We have to do that because you're gonna come up as the season goes on, and as you get into the playoffs, you're gonna start facing pitchers like Yu Darvish. You're gonna start facing some lockdown Cy Young Award winning candidates. And you need to be able to say, okay, I'm not hitting. Like Yoan Moncada. Dude, they were screwing him on that strike zone. They were screwing him on that strike zone all weekend. So you know what? Lay down a bunt, okay? Especially from the left side, lay down a drag bunt and go and beat it out. Now you're a threat, and now you can contribute on the base pass. Because God forbid they're not looking. Okay?
I'm with you.
Single, you go first to third. Single, you go first to third, and a wild pitch, you're home. So get involved, and Ricky's got to make those guys want to and understand to say, hey, listen, there's going to be games where you sorry, and you got it, bro. You got it. Hats off. Okay, but doesn't mean we're going to stop trying. Doesn't mean we're not going to continue to attack. Yeah, shut up, you. Way to go, Ivan. Hey, guys, we're joined by Kenneth David from the David Show right here, talking a little baseball right here, Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. So, yeah, it built up on Friday. I was really, really nervous on Friday because I wanted them to do well. I knew they had the talent, and I didn't know if it was going to finally come to fruition, and it did. Did you see it? Man, dude, Luis Roberts' home run, or his 2 home runs, let's pick one of Abreu's 6 home runs the weekend. One of Eloy's home runs over the weekend. I mean, Yasmani Grandal's home run off of Lester, dude, that went deep. It was fun to watch for a Sox fan, man. And I haven't had that much fun to watch a game. A lot of it had to do with the fact that it was the Cubs. A lot of it had to do with the fact that all my Cub fan friends couldn't say jack spit to me after those first 2 games. I was like, we might even give you tomorrow. You know what? I was talking to Renneria. He said he's not sure they're even going to show up for tomorrow. I said, that was an ass whooping. And that's 2 of them. That's when mom and dad beat your ass, okay? When mom and dad. Eat the cake, and eat the cake, Cubs. Eat the cake.
You say you want to help Ike? Oh my goodness, dude! It was beautiful, dude. This was this was sweet. Again, it's hard. Baseball. First of all, baseball. Being a baseball fan, you really have to dedicate yourself because it takes a lot of time, right? But that's one of the things that's beautiful about baseball, though. But you spend a lot of time with your team and how it feels like. And I know you can't go to the park, but through the television, you can spend 4 hours with your team away from your family in the same house. So you dedicate yourself. I feel like in a lot of ways, baseball losses hurt me more than any other sport. You know what I'm saying? And it's fun. Maybe because the Bears sometimes, depending on how good they are, but like when your baseball team, especially if it's a rivalry team, loses, you dedicate so much, it hurts, it burns inside. And I'm usually not as connected to teams like that since I've kind of been in the media. And also, really, the thing that stopped me from being connected to team was fantasy football. And you trying to get paid is more important than, because it's like, yeah, let's forget all that. It's about this money. But to go through these losing seasons, and I was a person that was a big proponent of the Sox tearing it down earlier. I got tired of having a softball team, basically, and not having multi-tool players. It's just like, what are we doing? Like, why don't we have listen, one guy has 5 tools, 3 or 4 guys have 4 tools. Like, why do we got a guy that's the uber defender, and this guy is the greatest softball hitter of all time, basically? Like, no, and to actually see it come to fruition and also these guys being signed up, it's beautiful to see Tim Anderson take another step from last year to further validate there's nothing fluky about this, right? The same for Yoan Moncada, from how he went and returned from last year from being a strikeout king the year prior to that. And seeing how his growth, and even though we know his legs necessarily aren't right, is with soft tissue injuries or whatever that Ricky's trying to keep him away from or whatever, to finally see, and we saw him all through the White Sox farm system, Lewis Robert, just everything. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's so young that
he don't even get it yet, dude. That's the crazy part.
That's the thing.
He don't even get it yet. He don't even get it yet. God gets it. Dude,
our leader. Yeah, when he gets it, when Lewis Robert, dog, think about him 2 years from now. All right, not just next year, the season after, right? Where it's like, no. I know this strike zone. I know how you're trying to pitch me, and it's not even going to work, right? On top of that, the speed. And think about when he knows what his speed can really do on those base paths, like when he's wiser with his selection on going after stolen bases out there, dude. And then again, the last but not least, our leader, Jose Abreu, in his like fine wine right now, right? Like a Renaissance man with a bat in his hand. All right. And I didn't mean to drop a bar right there. You better record. All right. Drop the bar right there. But I mean, and for him to be, this is his party right now, right? And it's great because what's the saying that people use in the last 3 or 4 years? You want to get somebody their flowers where they can smell them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You want to see the guy that had to carry this team for years, Dolo. All right. You don't want him to be in the back and all these kids out here doing everything. You want him to be in the front and the kids are around him, but he's still like, I'm still the daddy in the house. And, you know, I got this bat. You see, I got this bat right here, right? Like you want him, you want this for him. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, man, dude, this weekend was a sweet week. And then on top of that, we almost had the last game, right? Like even as you just mentioned with you. And I was a fan of them signing you because due to how the market was at that point, it seemed like they got good value. They haven't gotten it back yet. That was one, like DeMaz wasn't. All right. But yeah, that he wasn't. DeMaz wasn't, he was right to this point, but still, as you said, for you to realize that the Houston Astros cheated him, right? And Counter's like, I'm not that bad, right? It just definitely benefited him whatsoever.
Guys, he's Kenneth Davis. We got to take a quick break. So on the other side of the break, we're going to talk to our man, Scott Merkin from MLB.com, who covers the White Sox. So don't go anywhere, folks. Fired up to talk with Scott. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning with guest co-host Kenneth Davis right here on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
Now the 1-2. Schwarber drives one in the air, deep right center. Back goes Robert. This ball's got a chance. Gone. 2-run homer. Kyle Schwarber. Cubs lead 2-1.
Crosstown rivalry action on Sunday. The Cubs pick up the win 2-1 the final over the White Sox. Kyle Schwarber's 2-run homer in the 6th. The difference maker on the Cubs radio network. Yu Darvish improved to 5-1 with the win. He struck out 10 in his career-high 5th consecutive win. For the White Sox, Dylan Cease suffered the loss. He drops to 4-2. At Bears training camp, receiver Allen Robinson hurt his ankle on Friday. He sat out Saturday. That's when the team held a scrimmage. High marks for Nick Foles coming out of Saturday's practice. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at boomernaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
School goes on.
And Staples has everything you need to start the year right.
From notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to masks.
And all at amazing prices. This week, select one-subject notebooks and Staples 2-pocket paper folders are just 10 cents each.
Select notebooks and folders for a dime. That really is amazing.
Plus, you can shop in-store or pick up curbside. School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 8/22. In-store only. Limit 6. While supplies last. Curbside available in most stores.
Indeed knows that for any business, your next step is the most important one, like hiring someone who can make a real impact. Indeed can help you find high-impact hires faster, without any long-term contracts, and you pay only for what you need, thanks to our super flexible payment options. So why not take that next step with Indeed? Get started with a free $75 credit for your first job post and get in front of more quality candidates. Go to Indeed.com/high-impact. That's Indeed.com/high-impact. Terms and conditions apply.
Jose Abreu has been a one-man wrecking crew in this series. He is 6 for 9 with 5 home runs and 8 runs batted in.
Jose in the air, way back. Oh my goodness! Batman Jose is at it again, and Darvish can only laugh. This is outrageous.
Jose Abreu is some kind of locked in.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Man, that clip courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago, the Marquee Network, and 670 The Score and 720 AM, the White Sox flagship radio station. And that, I'll tell you what, you saw you just like, man, I just made a great pitch. It was at the knees, it was falling, and he caught it before, And again, sometimes just like we had to take our hat off to you for the rest of the game, you had to take your hat off to Jose. Like, you got me.
Right.
You got me. No ifs, ands, or buts. You got me. It happens that way. And, you got to remember, and you don't take it personal because these guys are professionals too. Just like you strike out guys and, strike out Hall of Famers and studs and all-stars and batting champions. Guess what? They get you too. It's, and you get them more than them because, basically they hit three out of 10 against you. And they're all worlds. I mean, you get them 7 out of 10 times. So it was a phenomenal game to see. So it was one heck of a weekend. But I want to bring out our next guest, and he's been covering the White Sox for a long time. He is a good friend of the program. Where'd he go? He's a good friend of the program. You can find him on Twitter at Scott Merkin. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya. Merkin. Scott, what's up, buddy? How are you? Thanks for your time.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well. Especially after this weekend, I'm doing very, very well. That had to be great to be there. But let me ask you some questions right off the bat. Let's get right to it. Is Jose Abreu an MVP candidate right now?
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. There's still half a season left, so who knows what's going to go on, but he's been tremendous so far. I mean, he's been as good as he's been better than advertised at this point, put it this way. I mean, he's been just, he's hitting the ball hard, he's hitting the ball for power, he's playing great defense. He's actually running the bases very well, too. I mean, although he's already been a pretty good base runner, but great for the Sox so far.
Kenneth asked, where are all the Jose Abreu detractors? Don't sign him because he's too old. Don't sign Andrew Vaughn because we want everyone. Where are those people? Because I'll tell you what, Jose has shut everybody down.
Yeah, I think people kind of miss the whole thing, and not everyone across the board, but I mean, Jose, I don't understand totally how he was regressing the last 2 years. And in 2018, he had some kind of, some weird medical maladies that cost him the last month and a half of the season. And, he went through that. It was fine. He went, he was better. And in 19, I get that not everyone loves the RBI stat, but the bottom line is it's a stat. And he led the American League in RBIs. And if it was so easy and so inconsequential, then why doesn't everyone, in the middle of an order? I know the 9 guy is not going to drive in maybe as many as the 3 and 4 hitter, but why doesn't everyone drive in 120 or 115 runs in a full season? So I don't buy that. And I think, and he was a really good hitter with runners in scoring position for a team that didn't have a ton of offense, for a good part of last year. So the thing is, he wanted to come back. He made that clear a number of times, as Rick Hahn joked about. There was no real negotiation leverage because Jerry said Jerry had told Jose he was coming back, Jerry Reinsdorf, and Jose said he wanted to come back. But Jose also was not going to just give Rick a blank contract and say, fill in whatever year you want and whatever money you want. I mean, Jose is a guy who's got 2 kids. He's married. He's got a life to support and a family to support, a life to live. So yeah, it was going to take like 3 years. I don't think he wants to play a lot more passes. Although who knows? He's in such good shape now and he's crushing the ball. If he can carry, not this, but some form of this out for, past the 3 years. But even at the end of the 3 years, it's going to be 9 years in the majors, and I think another 10 years in Cuba. So that may be it for him. He wants to be here for this team to win or this team to take a shot at winning because there's no guarantee ever that you're gonna, no matter how great the rebuild or how great the talent. Look at what Milwaukee's gone through. You can do everything right and still not win a title. But this is what was going to have to happen. And he understands that when Andrew Vaughn is ready, there's a good chance that he's going to be playing a lot of, he's going to be in the designated hitter spot a lot. So, he's ready to go. For some reason, early in the season, and people can, play it down or whatever, but he became the lightning rod. I get it that he was hitting the ball on the ground a lot. The team itself was not hitting great at the beginning, especially with runners in scoring position, specifically with runners in scoring position. But I think he's done a great job. I don't think he's going to hit 6 home runs after every 3 games. It's a pretty safe bet. But I think, he's really just doing what he's done his whole career, and that's solid, competition, and he's taking care of himself. And the thing is, yeah, there's going to be a time where he, the regression starts a little bit and he slows down a little bit. But I don't think at that point, even now, he's not going to be the featured guy or the main guy in the offense. There's so many other weapons in that offense that I forget the years, 2020, when 2022 comes around, he's not going to be the guy like, okay, if Jose doesn't do it, no one does it. He'll be like, okay, Jose does it, but so do 5 other guys in the lineup. So I think it made perfect sense to me. And as much as statistical numbers are great, and I love our StatCast tool we have at MLB.com, you got to look at the intangibles too. And the players in the clubhouse love that guy. I mean, he has a strong influence on guys like Eloy and Luis Robert and Yohan Moncada. And so many other guys in the clubhouse, too. He's very well liked, very well respected. And it's a good guy to have on your team. And take a look at what the Twins did last year with how many winning veterans they added to that lineup and the difference it made. So I think it was a natural, and the deal was one that, had to work out that way because, again, he's worth that kind of deal, and he's not going to take less than that no matter how much he wants to come back.
Scott, let me ask you this question. For this team to have been as bad as it's been in the prior seasons, and you happen to be, and we know how hard baseball reporting is, that's a different type of animal, how long you have to be at the ballpark. How good is it to be on the other side now in your profession with a team that's playing this well, but also with you not having the same contact with the team due to COVID, where it's not like you can be in the clubhouse and things like that?
Yeah, it's a weird year. I mean, the least control as reporters we have, but it's the way it's got to be, unfortunately. I mean, it's I've done one-on-ones. I just did one with Jared Kelly, who's their 2nd-round draft pick, the other day. And it happens. The White Sox media relations staff has been tremendous trying to get people for us when we request it. But otherwise, you're kind of at their mercy on who they bring on the Zooms. And it's different. In years past, there'd be days where, you'd go in that day and say, oh, okay, I need to talk to so-and-so and go get him. And it turned out to be something really good, something that you didn't maybe totally expect. This year, there's none of that. So it's a weird dynamic, but I understand it 100% absolutely has to happen because of the day. that we're in. So again, it's different. Unfortunately, it's nice to be at the ballpark. I've been at the ballpark, probably at least half the games this year, maybe a little less than half. But aside from seeing the field and seeing the players work out beforehand and that kind of thing a little bit, there's not a big, I want to say you don't gain a lot. There's not a big difference from covering it at home this year, which is totally weird. You can't, if you're at the ballpark, there's not a chance you're going to run into Rick Hahn or Kenny Williams and say, oh, I saw them today. Like you might see them, when you're waiting on the field, had a real good talk with them. And I have this because they're in a different tier and the tiers can't mix. So it is what it is. You get to the ballpark, you get checked, temperature wise, you have your bag going through, you go up straight to the press box. There's no stopping off. There was, in summer camp, you could go down to the first level for a little bit and watch some action and restrict, certain areas. You cover the game and you leave. There's no, there's socially distanced. You're spaced out from the other reporters, which is a good thing. And you wear a mask and you go home and come back and do it again the next day. So again, there's no complaints because that's the way it is. And I would hope that, I would think that once we get back to normal, whether that's 21 or midway through 21 or even 22, that it goes back to, almost exactly like it was even in spring training, the beginning part up until, early March this year in spring training. But right now I understand it is what it is. You got to go through it and this is what you got to do. And you can't really complain because that's the layout that they have.
Guys, we're joined by Scott Murphy from MLB.com who covers the White Sox, talking a little White Sox baseball on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. So this is one of the things that I said before, and I definitely need to get your take on it. I was very upset yesterday that the White Sox didn't implement small ball. I think when you got a pitcher like Darvish who is just dealing, and my goodness, with that guy in his zone. After that homer to Jose, I think he literally just shut everybody down. Is this something that you think the White Sox would benefit from this? And I think we may have talked about this before. And there are times when you're going to face a hot pitcher. It's just part of the game. And when you have guys like Moncada, have Anderson, have Luis Robert, and Moncada not really struggling a little bit, why not force the pitcher to get off and feel his position, possibly get some guys on base and cause some damage on base? I was very upset that they didn't go small ball. When you see him dealing the way he was, you got to get people on, get them over, get them in. You can't just have all your runs come from a home run ball, which they did in this series, and it cost you one of the games when you could have had a sweep.
Yeah, I think I get the small ball idea and manufacturing runs, but I'm not sure how much situations there were to do that yesterday. I mean, you're not going to have Yasmani Grandal lay down a bunt. You're not going to have Jose Abreu lay down a bunt. I think that was just the way it turned out yesterday. It's a 60-game season, and they weren't going to win every game. I get that it's the Cubs-Sox rivalry, and if you count the exhibition games, they had won the first, 5 of the games played against each other. But it was just a day yesterday. It was a really good game. Darvish pitched really well. Dylan Cease pitched really well, and it just turned out they couldn't get the big hit late. I think the biggest question that people had was, Cease going through Rizzo, Baez, and Schwarber in the 6th inning. And, with the new rule, you have to face 3 batters or finish the inning. So I suppose you could have brought in, after Baez got the double, you could have brought in a lefty to face Schwarber, but he would have had to go 3 batters, although I think it was Schwarber, Contreras, Hayward. So you would have had 2 lefties in there. You could have brought someone in to start the inning. But why do that? Because Cease he had pitched out of a jam the inning before, bases loaded, nobody out.
Yes.
It wasn't like he threw 20 pitches to get out of that. I mean, he struck out Kipnis on like 5 pitches, and I think happened to double play like the 3rd pitch of the at-bat. Maybe it was the 4th. His velocity was good. He struck out Rizzo to start that inning. In the pitch before, Schwarber at the home run, Schwarber waved through a slider that was, perfectly located. Schwarber's a really good home run hitter, a really good power hitter. A home run hitter sounds kind of silly. And he just didn't get the spot exactly wanted. But if you look at that, Schwarber kind of went out and hooked that pitch. It wasn't like it was a hanger. Like the one Abreu hit, and Abreu hit good, bad, and everything this weekend. Our Cubs writer Jordan Bastian tweeted something about all the different pitches and locations Abreu hit homers off of. But Schwarber got that one. And, Dylan, after the game, said it wasn't the best located slider, but I don't think it was a horrible pitch either. So you take a chance. This is a guy who right now, as you're looking at this year, is your 3rd starter in a playoff series behind, Lucas Giolito, and Dallas Keuchel. So you got to give him a chance. And I know there's other situations where I think they were calling for Edwin, and people were saying maybe pinch hit Edwin Encarnacion for Mendick in the 9th inning against Jeffers, because Encarnacion's got that power that can give them, the victory. But I thought Mendick had a great at bat. The Sox had great at bats in the last two. Abreu coaxed a walk to get Jimenez up there against Jeffers in the 8th. Jimenez hit the ball pretty hard. It was just right at Ian Happ. And in the 9th inning, they had nobody on and 2 outs, a single and 2 walks later, and they had the winning run or go ahead run at second base. Moncada hit the ball decently. It was just right at Baez, and that was that. So sometimes you lose. I mean, they're going to have to score more than just home runs. That's a given, obviously. But I think yesterday was just one of those games that, as Hawk used to say, and what it was 120 games, and you win 60 and you lose 60. It's the other 42 what you do about it. And yesterday was just one of those games that you were going to lose this year.
Hey, Scott, let me ask you about Yasmani Grandal. Has he not really popped yet? Because with the Dodgers and with the Brewers, he was at the back for more games. Like, if you kind of look at how many games he played in the prior seasons, he's not getting as many in this abbreviated season. Has that affected his bat not being as vibrant as he usually is?
Yeah, I think he had a little bit of a foot thing when spring training, a foot injury when at the end of summer camp when the season was starting. And he's talked about that, not having video this year. One of the reasons because you the COVID-19 rule where you can't have players, congregating around certain areas and that kind of thing. I think that's hurt a number of different players. You see a lot of players who are, people pointed out to me, JD Martinez, that he didn't suddenly forget how to hit, that he's struggling. So it might be one of the things. But I think Grandal has come on lately. I think you saw him. Actually, yesterday there were a couple of balls that I thought, with the way the ball had been carrying, the way the Sox have been hitting in this series, that I thought he had a chance to get out, and they both ended up like warning track or near the wall. So he hit the ball hard for the last, couple since he came back. And he also, I forgot, he had the back stiffness that slowed him down. So I think it's just been a confluence of things, especially the couple injuries. The foot thing at the beginning that Ricky Renteria talked about, and then he missed like 2.5 games in Detroit. He came out early from one game and he missed the last 2 with back stiffness. And he said, it was hard for him to kind of sit down because it was stiffen up so quick when it first started. A lot of work had him ready to play all 3 in Wrigley. So, I think eventually, he's a good player. He's going to hit his level, and he's going to be as he has been, for the most part, a good contributor to this offense.
Hey, Scott, guys, we're joined by Scott Merck from MLB.com. One more question before we let you go. And again, we appreciate your time this morning. What's wrong with Moncada? He looked, when he came up in the bottom of the 9th yesterday, I was very leery. I did not have any confidence that he would come through. Was it because of the erratic strike zone that the umps had? Because they were calling that low strike way too much. They were calling inside and outside. I know even was it Contreras on the Cubs had a strike call that was way inside. That strike zone was very, very erratic and not consistent. Could that have been an issue? Is that what could be wrong with Moncada? Because I didn't think he performed as well as I wanted him to perform in this series.
Well, I think one of the biggest issues is he tested positive for COVID-19 during the intake process, and some time. And I don't pretend to know anything about what he went through, except that he told us that there were a couple of days where he lost. I think he said he lost taste and smell, which is a couple of the symptoms that people have described on that. So I don't know if that has lingering effects. Thankfully, I haven't dealt with that, and I don't have a ton of friends who have dealt with that. But I do wonder if that's something that carries on, because I think this insidious illness can, affect you past that. But let's say that's not even the issue, that, he's getting back into it. Now, granted, it's half the season, and he started on opening day. But still, he missed a lot of ramp-up time. So as Rick talked about, he's dealt with a lot of general body soreness, a lot of leg soreness, and that affects your swing too. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets at least one. He got Friday off against the Cubs and John Lester.
Right.
Maybe they have a lefty going Tuesday night for Pittsburgh, Stephen Brault. So maybe Moncada hits that. I mean, geez, you could even give him both Pittsburgh games. I have nothing against Pittsburgh. They just swept Milwaukee in convincing fashion. But, maybe you give him both games off. Even if Madrigal's not ready to come back, you still have Mendick, you still have Goins. You're a little thin but I mean, he's not hurt as in IL or so, just dealing with soreness. So, I mean, maybe you give him the 2 days off, and with the 2 off days around it, you have 4 days off, and he can get ready, and go after it in Kansas City. I think it's just general body soreness, and he's gonna work through it eventually.
Him and Derrick Rose, general soreness. I love it. Hey, Scott, great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it. You can find him on Twitter at Scott Merkin. He covers the White Sox for MLB.com. Great stuff. And once again, Scott, really appreciate your time because I know you're a busy man with this shortened season. So thanks again.
Anytime, guys. Take care.
All right, now. Guys, that was Scott Merkin from MLB.com. I covers the White Sox for the past 18 seasons. And you know what? He brought me off the ledge. Okay.
I want to say something to you. Let me jump in before you start real quick about COVID, because I actually believe I had it. My 9 to 5 is in the Pru, so you know how congested the residential building can be, right? So I'm in the office. If everyone got sick, and I never had the flu. And look, first of all, I take the flu vaccine for my daughter. I started taking it when she was born because I didn't want to give it to her because she was too young to try to be fighting off the flu, trying to blow her nose. So and again, I know with that different strains or whatever. So anyway, I thought I had the flu. I would walk up the steps and feel like I'm about to faint. And to be honest with you, and I'm applying this to young Makata. My balance still isn't the same. Like, and my reflexes are nice, right? Like my reflexes are still at my old age. I still catch stuff and be like, boy, I got it, right?
Athlete.
Yeah, but there's some times when I'm walking and I'm like, I'll catch myself, but it's like, wait, this isn't me, right? To a certain degree, like this isn't me. And I mean, like I said, I never had a flu like that. Listen, I could not smell anything, right? Like you could put it to my nose, I could not. This is before this, and this was maybe in like January. You know what I'm saying? This was early before we knew what something was out there. You know what I'm saying? And again, working downtown in a place where people in my office travel internationally. All right, like, or I don't even have to get people traveling in that building. There's international travelers, let alone it's the hub of Metra and for the what's the name, Amtrak is downstairs in the bottom of the building. So just so when you're getting on Mancada. And it's like, whatever. He had the Rona. Get out there and play that damn baseball, right? He had the Rona. Like, get like when they're saying that my man, because he has the leg stuff, dude. I know you'd be like, and I know that with you, it's like, why are any of them getting breaks? Shawn,
yes.
They have to get breaks, Shawn. They're going to get. Right. You know what? I'll say this too. One thing I will give Ricky props for yesterday. And this will go to like your boy Ozzy. And I love Ozzy again. Let me not just say your boy. I love Ozzy again. He should have had several other chances to be an MLB manager after the Marlins. But one thing what Ozzy would do, and this is when I used to be at Sox games all the time. That Sunday lineup, right? You come there like, oh, okay. Maybe I'll get Chris Sale, but man,
who's paying first?
Exactly. Like, wait, they brought Ron Conkervice back? But like, dude, like, so at least because the one thing looking at that lineup yesterday, and with the series already being in the bag, that was a full lineup. I'm with you though, as far as the situational hitting, because you're gonna run into what you said before Scott joined us. You're gonna run into situations where dudes are dealing, man, and you have to start putting that mindset into these players, right? Like, you know what? We can make this easier, guys. Guess what? You can hang 7 up. We can get like 11 because, dog, we're gonna do some hitting and running. Dog, we're gonna get you guys moving on these bases with all the speed that we have up top. I'm totally in agreement, but give your Mancada a little bit of break because again, now
I will.
What Scott said, it didn't seem like he had a severe case. If Yoan Mancada said all I couldn't do was smell, that doesn't seem like he's like, man, I could not breathe. Like I had to basically sleep maybe 2 to 3 hours because one, if I have a cold, I don't like sleeping. Like if I'm congested and I can't breathe, it's too close to the big nap for me. So I usually get up in the middle of the night, right? But when I had this, dog, for nights I had to sitting up. I had to sleep sitting up because I could not feel comfortable laying down with the amount of congestion that I had in my nose, and I was done, man. And this was like it was the worst flu. And again, maybe I did not have it. But then to come to find out a couple months later that a new plague had hit that no one had ever experienced, it made more sense. So I don't think it's as easy as the only thing that I want to point out about that.
I'll be a lot more lenient with him. Yeah, I will. And obviously, that was my first thing. Why is this guy? He's 23 years old, 24 years old. And he's getting arrested. in a 60-game season. And then, but again, I forget because I want him to do well. I like Ricky. I don't want him making silly or frivolous moves. And I forgot about Yoel Moncada having the Rona. And we don't know what his symptoms are. We don't know what the after effects are. After maybe his legs are, maybe his muscles are weak. Maybe his wind is not 100%. Maybe, who knows? We don't know what, because there's no set symptoms that we can say, okay, here's what you get. Okay, it varies with a lot of people. So I'll be a lot more lenient when it comes to Yoel Moncada, and stop being such a meathead. Because you know what? I want him to be. I want this. Tim Anderson is a legitimate MVP candidate. Okay, you keep batting the way you're batting. You keep and not just that, but also people see you. But when you're on national TV and people see you, you've heard about the bat flip. They heard about the home run. They know about the major or the American League in batting, and then he's doing it again. All right, he's up there batting. He's a catalyst. Okay, I want to get to the point where you would say, okay, enough of these freaking Chicago White Sox players up for MVP. Okay, because I think Abreu right now is 5th in batting. He's 4th in runs scored, 1st in RBIs. Gee, there's a shocker. 2nd in hits, and 1st in home runs. Okay, and then I want Luis Robert in a year or two to be up there. I want Yoel Moncada in a year or two to be up there, and I want Tim Anderson in a year or two to be up there. And saying we can't vote, we can't have every single White Sox player for MVP. That's what I want. I just want Yoel Moncada. I want him to take that step forward, like Tim Anderson took last year. When it was like, okay, he ain't no punk. That wasn't a fluke, and that's what I'm hoping, because I love Yoel Moncada.
I do too.
I love him, and watching him going. I'm telling you, those are the two. Mike Trout and Yoel Moncada going first to third are two of the most beautifulest things I've seen in a long time. Just because he's a big guy like me.
Yeah, dude.
And when he comes around that corner, and he hits inside that second base with that right foot, and man, it's a beautiful thing. And he's uber talented, like a good majority of that core. And I just want to see him do so well. And I want him to start. I'm with you. He got the Rona, and I keep forgetting about that, and I can't. I have to remember that he did do that. Hey, listen, we're going to do a little crossover segment. I just talked to the bosses in my head, and they said it's okay for us to do this. We're going to bring out our guy. He's the host. He's the co-host of the hottest show on SportsZone Chicago. What's up, cuz? Man, he is a good friend of the program. You can find him on Twitter at Jaycoyden, Jaycoyden. Guys, just welcome back to Shawn and Maya. He's going to take us home for the last hour after Kenneth leaves. Jason Palmer. Jason, what's up, Baba? How are you?
Hey, what's up, Shawn? How you doing? What's up, Ken?
What's going on, Jason?
Oh, man, chilling, baby. It's House Music Monday, so I had to represent Shawn. I'm wearing my Reef Records shirt there.
Okay.
Nice record store up here in Antioch, Illinois, man. You can get everything on wax, man. Old school days, man.
Oh, you got the vinyl. Okay.
Yeah, all vinyl, man. I love that store, man.
Peep this. So you see all the house head shirts I got, and the house music shirts?
Yeah.
My guy so he was doing them at pop-ups. So he'd make them, he'd put them on Facebook, sell them on Facebook, or he'd go to he'd have a couple different bars that he'd be able to go and sell at. He just got the keys to a storefront. So it's going to be in Pilsen, over on Blue Island. So whenever you come in the city, he's going to have a storefront. You can go check out all. He's going to have. We were talking because I was with him for a minute yesterday. Have one section for all the house music shirts, one house heads. You're going to have one section for all the sports: Cubs, Sox, Bears, Bulls, Hawks. You're going to have another one for like Pilsen, another one for just Chicago shirts, different types of stuff. So he's actually going to have a storefront. So when people come in and they see what I'm wearing and other people are in and around the city, they know where to go and get it. And he'll have a storefront. So
nice. Yeah, we definitely hit him up. We got our logo that we're gonna be debuting here in about a week or two for our show.
No, get out of here. Get out of here.
And we're gonna need some shirts. So now I know where to go.
You know it. Yeah, he's a good dude, and he does that shirt search for this other real quick. And I know we got off of sports a little bit. We started the kids at St. Rita High School started a Black Student Union, and they got some alumni involved, and so I'm involved in it. And we were so he did our shirts for the St. Rita Black Student Union, and then he got us some polo that said Black Alumni Association, the St. Rita Black Alumni Association. So he's all about helping kids and especially people of color. He's a Mexican dude, but he understands what it's like to be beaten up by the cops and so he's anything for the kids, anything for minority kids or people of color, he's down with. So he'll definitely he'll take care of you. So but real quick, man, give me your thoughts, Jay, on his White Sox 2 out of 3, baby, with the bases loaded in the top of the 9th yesterday.
So, I mean, I was loving it Friday and Saturday. I was like, yes, tap that ass. Tap that ass.
Thank you, sir. May I have another? Thank you, sir. May I have another? Thank you, sir. May I have another?
So, my overall, to be completely objective overall, taking 2 out of 3 from the Cubs was a good series, no doubt. But the bottom line is we should have swept them. We should have swept them yesterday. You guys have hit on a lot of points earlier in the show, but a couple of things I noticed was, Darvish wasn't sharp early in that game.
Nope.
That first strikeout of Tim Anderson in the first inning, that was a hanging curveball right down the middle of the plate. And usually Tim is going to blast that.
He was looking for a heater.
Yeah.
He was looking for a heater, and he got the curve.
Yeah, a couple of things I noticed about the White Sox was, they didn't jump on you early where they had a chance to really kind of, knock him out the game or, get him frazzled even more. He wasn't sharp. Yes. He was not sharp those first couple of innings. The second thing is we found Luis Roberts' hole. He cannot lay off of a slider low and away. And he's going to have to work on that because he was chasing sliders from all of their pitchers from way out of the zone. I mean, they wasn't even close.
All right, you can stop that, Ivan.
I mean, he was just wailing at him. And the problem with it, too, and he's a young hitter, and Eloy did this a lot last year, that slider that's low and away, man, when I play, you take that ball the other way. Because even if you make contact with it and you're trying to pull it, the only thing you're going to do is hit a ground ball up the middle or maybe to the shortstop. You're not going to really pull that ball out, with some power
but Jason,
to the left side.
Part of the issue that I had, and I mentioned to Scott, I mentioned it to Ken, was the umpire, the officiating was just god awful. There were so many balls, and he was calling that low strike, and then there were some balls. So if you're going to get that low strike when it's coming, it's outside of the zone.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. I saw it happen with Moncada a couple times. So if you're going to get that, like Luis Robert did, then I'm gonna start that pitch at the bottom of the corner inside the zone, and it's gonna go outside the zone, and you have to swing at it. So I think I agree with you that he's got to do it because I've seen him take great pitches, and I think it was just the officiating in the umping yesterday, this weekend, really that really had some of the Sox hitters and Cub hitters as well.
Yeah,
kind of it gave him the flux, man, because you're like, that's not a strike. Remember the one to Contreras inside, dude, that wasn't even near the strike zone.
So
the zone cast, and Contreras is like, come on, man. He's like, that wasn't a strike.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that. So I thought Laz Diaz yesterday, he was a home plate I thought his first few innings, he was extremely consistent. He called the strike zone as it was. I think as the game wore on, the strike zone kind of got expanded more.
Did he have a hot day or something? Yeah, a hot day or something.
I mean, this happens during officiating. It's hard to keep that level of concentration. It's like Jose on a hitting streak. You can be on a hot streak, but eventually you're gonna start missing a couple of calls. I did think, earlier in the series though that some of the umpire was, a little bit inconsistent. But I think the White Sox were just hammering the ball. My thing with that is. And I'll speak to Moncada. I thought last year what made him such a good hitter was that he wasn't taking pitches early in the count like he did the previous year, which was when he was really struggling. And if you remember, they told him, hey, man, stop letting these good pitches go by. This ain't the minor leagues. Right. This ain't the minor leagues. You're not going to keep getting them good pitches. You may get one good pitch at bat. So you need to take your shot. And I think he's kind of regressed a little bit this year. And I know he's got the COVID. I know he's got some injury issues. But he's kind of regressed to going back to that, I'm not going to be as aggressive. And with Johan, you can see it in his eyes a lot of times.
Yes.
His facial expressions tell you
everything
where he is. And I think he just needs to be more aggressive, man. Going out there. You a hitter. You in a lineup full of hitters, dog. Go ahead and swing the bat, man.
Go get it.
Right. Don't even let the ump in the game. Just go ahead and take your shot. Ain't nobody gonna be mad at you for aggressively swinging. But we will be mad at you if you sitting there taking pitches and you allowing the umpire to bring you up.
Well, listen, hey guys, we got to take a break. Kenneth, thank you very much, Papa. We'll see you on Friday. Thanks for joining us. We got to take a break because on the other side of the break, we have Larry Hawley from WGN Sports. And, man, we're going to get a Cubs perspective on this 3-game set over the weekend. So, look, guys, don't go anywhere. Larry Hawley coming up next right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
Now the 1-2. Schwarber drives one in the air, deep right center. Back goes Robert. This ball's got a chance. Gone. 2-run homer, Kyle Schwarber. Cubs lead 2-1.
Crosstown rivalry action on Sunday. The Cubs pick up the win 2-1 the final over the White Sox. Kyle Schwarber's 2-run homer in the 6th. The difference maker on the Cubs radio network. Yu Darvish improved to 5-1 with the win. He struck out 10 in his career-high 5th consecutive win. For the White Sox, Dylan Cease suffered the loss. He drops to 4-2. At Bears training camp, receiver Allen Robinson hurt his ankle on Friday. He sat out Saturday. That's when the team held a scrimmage. High marks for Nick Foles coming out of Saturday's practice. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
School goes on.
And Staples has everything you need to start the year right.
From notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to masks.
And all at amazing prices. This week, select one-subject notebooks and Staples 2-pocket paper folders are just 10 cents each.
Select notebooks and folders for a dime. That really is amazing.
Plus, you can shop in-store or pick up curbside. School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 8/22. In-store only. Limit 6. While supplies last. Curbside available in most stores.
Indeed knows that for any business, your next step is the most important one, like hiring someone who can make a real impact. Indeed can help you find high-impact hires faster, without any long-term contracts, and you pay only for what you need, thanks to our super flexible payment options. So why not take that next step with Indeed? Get started with a free $75 credit for your first job post and get in front of more quality candidates. Go to Indeed.com/high-impact. That's Indeed.com/high-impact. Terms and conditions apply.
Guys, welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning. I got my new tag team partner in town for today, Jason Palmer. He's going to close out the show in the 11 o'clock hour. And I want to thank him for coming in. Make sure you check out his show. It is the hottest show on SportsZone Chicago every Monday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Him and his cousin, Lance C. Irvin, they got the shows called What's Up, Cuz? And just real quick, who the heck you got coming up today, dude? Because you started off with Tim Hardaway, okay, and then you had Danny Manning call you like, oh, hold on, player, I need to get on. Then you get him. Then you get Cappy Pondexter. Then you got the director for the Benji Wilson. Dude, who do you have on this week? I don't even know.
This week we've got one of the South Suburbs' own. He is ILLINI. He's also from NBC Sports Chicago, the Bulls analyst. Kendall Gill is joining us tonight.
KG3 or Kendall Gill, my man.
Kendall joined us tonight. We're going to talk about the Bulls coaching search. We're going to talk about the number 4 pick. Bulls got the number 4 pick in the draft. You know, who are we going to get? And, we also got Eugene and Terrence coming on from the Bigs to discuss the White Sox and the Cubs series. And then I got a real special young lady. I'm going to hook Ivan up because we got to get him a wife.
No, he's married. He's got
he's married?
No, he's got yeah.
Never mind, Ivan.
Never mind.
We gonna hook your cousin up then. So we got Jahiza.
Hey, you live in Latina, so you better hope she doesn't see this because he's got a bunch of trouble he just started for us.
I know, man. She gonna come get me. So we got Jahiza De Jesus, who's a fitness model who's representing women of color in these fitness competitions where there's not a lot of women of color, and she's.
Wait a minute now.
All right, wife, I didn't do that part. So, Jahaiza's coming on. She's going to talk about being a woman of color in these fitness competitions and all the stuff that she does. She's from Miami, Florida originally. So she's a Miami mommy, great young lady, and she's going to be on the show. So we got kind of a variety of topics we're going to hit on tonight on the show from 6 to 8 with myself and Lance Irvin.
Dude, that's awesome, man. I'm going to have to tune in. Well, listen, our next guest is a guy, man, I can't thank him enough. He's given me the opportunity plenty of times to be on CLTV Sports Feed with Jared Payton and Josh Friedman, and we've had him on our show as well, and we want to get him back and talk from a Cubs perspective. You can find him on Twitter at Hawley Sports. He's the sports producer for WGN. And guys, welcome back to Shawn and Maya. Oh man, he just like.
Yeah, it just dropped right now. Sorry. It wasn't anybody. Like he was on, I'm ready, and then it just dropped off. So a couple more seconds.
See, I bring up a fitness model, and now I haven't dropping dudes off the
show. We'll get him back.
The world of live streaming.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, it's crazy, but he definitely want to get him back and holler at him, and I'm really excited to see what his take on it. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Larry Hawley. Larry, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Good. How are you? It looks like my internet might have dropped out for a little bit, so my apologies for that.
No problem. We got it. Like Jason said, live streaming. You gotta roll with the punches.
Yeah, we make it work. So I'm glad to be joining you guys. It's good to be on here.
Yeah. So this is a big series this weekend. Cubs Sox, the Crosstown Classic again. The White Sox took 2 out of 3 emphatically in the first 2 games. And then yesterday's game was a pitcher's duel. And Yu Darvish just had the best of it. Talk to me about that and what that meant, because the Brewers lost in that division yesterday. But talk to me about how big that win was for the Cubs yesterday.
I think it's important. I think it was good just to get one of those. I mean, is it going to cost them the season if they don't win it? No. But I think it's good for them on what was a pretty rough homestand. Remember, they lost 3 of 4 to the Brewers. They were able to get 3 of 5 from the Cardinals, which is pretty good considering there were a couple of rough moments there. If it's not for David Bote, they may have actually lost 4 or 5. So I think it was important for them. And I think one thing that's really outstanding is the fact that Yu Darvish was again outstanding. And what we're seeing out of Yu right now is he's really becoming the Cubs ace. I think even above Kyle Hendricks, who's had his, still has a good ERA. He hasn't been dominant, really truly dominant outside of that first performance against Cincinnati. But I think what you're seeing out of Yu now, that Theo Epstein saw in the 2017 NLCS, that made him be able to reach out and go ahead and pay that huge salary to him and go ahead and really make it work. So this is going to get really interesting to see kind of how Yu develops. We still have about another month here where we're going to see how much he's going to have for leading into the playoffs. But I think the most encouraging thing, not only to win the game, and I think maybe just for a little pride for the city, also is the fact that Yu Darvish pitched so well. And the fact that Yu was pitching so well really gives Cub fans another reason to feel good, considering how difficult his first year and a half was when he was injured and when he wasn't pitching at his best. So I think the win is great. I think the continued great pitch Darvish is probably even more encouraging for Cub fans as they start to kind of creep ahead and look ahead to the playoffs.
So Larry, bottom line, is Yu Darvish the top Cy Young? Is he a Cy Young candidate as we speak?
Guys, can you still hear me?
No, we just picked you up right now. We missed what you said right before that.
I think so. I really think at this point you have to look at that. You've got a 5-1 record. You have a 1.70 ERA. And you also look at his strikeouts compared to walks. I mean, remember how big of a problem walks were when he started out? It's incredible to see. Sure, absolutely. I think when you're talking about Yu Darvish, I think absolutely he's a Cy Young candidate. 5-1, 1.70 ERA. you're looking at a pitcher who right now is on that dominant cusp. I mean, really, for me, you just see him kind of, maybe allow a homer here and there. But other than that, he is showing electric stuff. Again, this is what the Cubs saw and Theo saw firsthand in that Game 3 of the 2017 NLCS when he was with the Dodgers, came in a Wrigley Field and essentially shut down any chance the Cubs had to repeat. I think Darvish, I mean, it's incredible. I think it's been a lot of fun to watch. For me, I think it's a wonderful story, considering the rough start he had here in 2018. Obviously, he was injured. I think we all know that now. I certainly think he's a Cy Young candidate because he's not only been effective, he's going deep into starts. He went 7 innings yesterday. He's also had a lot of strikeouts. He's keeping the runs down. The walks are almost non-existent. And the stuff he's showing is simply electric. I think a Cy Young is not out of the realm of possibility. But again, this is a weird season. And, looking back typically in the history of Darvish, here might be another thing that might be encouraging. I did this article a couple of years ago. Traditionally, Darvish is very good in May, which would be the second month of the year. So I think right now you're going to see him do very, very well. I'm really excited to see what you have next month, and then what I believe will be a playoff run.
Okay. Larry, quick question. I miss Chris Bryant in this series. I'm happy the White Sox won, but missing that Chris Bryant bat in the lineup for the Cubs, how long do we anticipate him being out, and how deep of a run can the Cubs really make without Bryant in that lineup? Not sure if Larry was able to hear me there with our connection issue here. Larry, did you get that last question?
Oh, now you're coming through. Yeah, you weren't coming through before, but you got it now.
Yeah. Did you hear my question, Larry? Yeah, I think it's connection. He might need to reconnect there. Yeah, I mean, I thought Chris Bryant, not being in the lineup, Shawn, I think it definitely benefited the White Sox. I mean, that's one less bat you have to deal with. But the bottom line is Chris Bryant wasn't going to be on that mound pitching. And, the White Sox were hammering that ball. But, yeah, I definitely miss Bryant in that lineup, and I definitely think the White Sox caught a little bit of a break there.
Chris Bryant's hitting 177 right about now. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that would have been a horrible time for Sox fans for him to come out of that, to break that slump that he's in. Here's the crazy part, and I didn't get to talk to Kenneth about it, but you and I can discuss this. Mm-hmm. Let's look at this. Chris Bryant's hitting 177. Okay. Mm-hmm. Javi Baez is at the Mendoza line.
Yep.
At 200.
Mm-hmm.
Rizzo is at 213.
Mm-hmm.
And you're still in first place.
Yeah.
And you're still in first place by 3 games. What this Cub team has, and my question is, how are they doing it?
Right.
How are they doing it? If you don't have those are your big three, you're the big three, Bryant, Rizzo, Baez. They're not doing it.
Right.
How are they still
well,
and the second best record in the National League?
And Hayward doesn't hit for power. So, you can also throw that in there. It is, we're going to find out if the Cubs are for real or if they were doing it with smoke and mirrors here in the early part of the season. Okay, they won yesterday, but prior to that, they lost, 4 games in a row, going into yesterday's game. So, are the smoke and mirrors starting to wear off a little bit? I mean, they got 2 runs yesterday, and it all came on back-to-back hits. When I thought Cease was tired, I thought he probably should have pulled him. You could tell his slider didn't have as much bite. And what were the 2 hits? Baez hit a hanging slider for a double, and then Schwarber just annihilated one out of the park, and that was a 2 run. That was all the offense they had. Yep. Think about it. I mean, we talk about the White Sox and situational hitting. The Cubs had the bases loaded with nobody out. Nobody out, and did not score. Granted, it was a fantastic play by Tim Anderson to turn the double play on that one, but and then we got the benefit of the instant replay call there earlier in the game too.
Right.
When Rizzo went on the contact play, which is the play I absolutely hate. But, the Cubs have to get some consistency in their offense as well. So, hey, Larry's back.
Hey, I finally got it now.
All right, Larry, I'm gonna re-ask the question for you. I was
Thank you
asking
for your patience, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I was saying, hey, Chris Bryant wasn't in that lineup, and even though he's hitting 177 this year, he's still Chris freaking Bryant. What can the Cubs do without Bryant in that lineup long term?
Well, it's going to be interesting. We saw a little bit of this back in 2018 when Bryant was in and out of the lineup. I really believe that for this Cub team to really reach its potential, as they did in 2016, as they did in 15 and in 17, you've got to have Bryant healthy. You've got to have Bryant hitting. And frankly, have Bryant in the field. He's a very good fielder. I think it's going to be tough for the Cubs to make what would be a deep run in the playoffs without having him. So it certainly is concerning. You see Bodie filling in well. You saw the 2 game-winning hits in the Cardinals series. I think that he can do well, but the problem you have to have your MVP. He's still your MVP. He's a guy who's effective at the plate and in the field. It's hard for me to see the Cubs winning without him being in the lineup. I know he was struggling and the Cubs still did well, but I think you got to have him. If you want to reach the place you want to be, it's good to have him. Again, maybe these are lingering things, but hopefully the Cubs are being, taking the precautions. They do have a little bit of a lead in the division. The Cardinals have a lot of games to make up, and frankly, the back half of the division right now isn't very good. So I applaud the Cubs for doing what they're doing here, and I think it'll be fine. Like I said, I think Bryant will be back, but you got to have him. You want to make a run, you got to have Chris Bryant.
As we're joined by Larry Hawley, the sports producer at WGN, talking little Cubs baseball right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
One of the other things Shawn and I were just discussing as you had to reset there was that the Cubs, if you look at their key players, nobody's really hitting right now. Rizzo is struggling. Javi Baez is struggling, right? Hayward doesn't hit for power anymore. Chris Bryant struggling even when he's in the lineup. How are they still winning? How do they still have the second best record in the National League, Larry?
Well, the on-base percentages, I actually looked up last night. The on-base percentages for the guys are still fine. Baez is down a lot, and his performance so far, at least at the plate, has been disappointing. Rizzo and those guys are all getting going. I think one guy that's really interesting is Ian Happ. I think Ian Happ is, after all that happened last year, he was in the minors for a long time, and he's having just an outstanding year. I think if you look for a Cubs MVP outside of Yu Darvish, and I think right now Yu Darvish is their MVP, you'd have to go with Ian Happ. And I think what's really an exciting thing for me with Ian is the fact that he might have a shot here to solidify the Cubs' leadoff position, which frankly hasn't really been filled since Dexter Fowler left. I think that's one thing people have asked themselves, why haven't the Cubs been to the World Series? Why haven't the Cubs won another championship? One reason that I always give them is the fact that Dexter Fowler left, and they have not had a leadoff hitter to replace him. It's been a hole in the lineup that the Cubs have frankly had for a while. I think Ian Happ has done a wonderful job. He's been able to hit for average, get on base, and of course with the homers as well. I believe he's at 6. You might have to check me on that. I think he's been outstanding. You've had little contributions here and there from guys. The Cubs have had strong, at least starting pitching for a healthy amount of their games. And then I think what they've also had, Jeremy Jeffress. I think if you want to talk about another MVP the Cubs have had, what this guy has done and how he saved a few of these games when Craig Kimbrell, frankly, was flat out ineffective when they started the season, has been amazing. I think if you're looking for another MVP, I'd go with Jeffress. What I think you're seeing here, guys, is little contributions from players here and there, coupled with some pretty decent starts along the way. There have been some bad ones. Lester was bombed the other night by the White Sox pretty badly. Other than that, you've really seen just contributions here and there that have helped the Cubs to be able to be effective, and right now have them in first place. And with a month to go in the season, in a very good position to make the playoffs, even if that isn't just winning the division, which does look like a pretty good shot for them to do something special.
Guys, we're joined by Larry Hawley from WGN TV and talking a little Cubs baseball right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. And let me tell you, I was I'm glad that he asked that question, because I don't figure out how they're still winning. But one of the things that you did mention Jeffries, and come watching him, and I was new to him. I've never heard, I had not seen him before. Watching him yesterday when he came in, man, this team now that they have an easy line. They have Detroit, and then they have Pittsburgh, if I'm not mistaken. So they got 6 games with really sub 500. Detroit and Cincinnati, excuse me. They have a chance to extend their lead or build on that lead in the NL Central. I guess this is how they're doing it. But I just don't see how they're going to do it, or can they sustain it without those 3 guys really being a force: Baez, Bryant, and Rizzo.
Oh, did Larry freeze on us? Yeah, I think he may have froze. Okay. The other thing too, Shawn, that I was a little upset with the White Sox yesterday. I mean, Craig Kimbrell, he's been a mess for the Cubs for the most part. I mean, he came in yesterday and, truth be told, had the White Sox not swung at some of those bad pitches, they would have walked. He'd have walked them, So I think Kimbrell is also a thing too. So, Larry, Shawn's question was, again, how are they continuing to win with, those guys kind of struggling in the lineup. But also I would say, the Cubs bullpen, Jeffers definitely saved them. But, Craig Kimbrell got pulled by Ross, and we can see Rossi talking to him on the mound. Do you think he pulled him just for his own mental health? Well, Shawn, what did you think of that situation? Did you notice what I noticed with David Ross when he went out there to talk to Kimbrell?
Yeah, he was saying something, and I think he might have. And it's I'll tell you what, I give him a lot of credit. He's done a really good job of managing the pitchers, of taking guys out when they need to be. It's David Ross has really right now he's my MVP for the Cubs. I was very surprised at his ability to make the right moves, to get this team ready to go, to get them in first place in the NL Central. They had the second best record in baseball for a while. Now they have the second best record in the National League. They have a 3-game lead. You don't see them making stupid mistakes. You don't see them having careless errors. This is a guy who's really tightened up that ship, and for me, he is the MVP right now for the Cubs. David Ross. I never thought that I would say that. I get it. Catchers usually make good managers, but for him to do it without having any managerial experience and just literally going off of old school, his beliefs, from we're taking batting practice every day. Unlike Joe, like, if you want to take it, if not, don't. We're taking fielding practice every day. These habits that we're doing, it's all about habits. And he got him back to the fundamentals, and that defense, which was horrible last year, which in 2016, all 4 of the infielders started in the All-Star game. So we go from that to regressing to a bad infield to now they're not making careless mistakes. I think to me, my MVP for the season for the Cubs at this point is David Ross. Your thoughts, Larry?
Oh, looks like Larry still got a few issues.
Yeah, we're not able to hear Larry, so we're having some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
But,
I hear you though, Shawn. I mean, I think Ross has done a heck of a lot better than I was going to say he was going to do. This thing could have went either way. It could have went very well like it's going, or it could have went the way Robert Ventura went with the White Sox. So that was kind of my thing. I was like, well, we'll see how this works out with the Cubs. But I thought he's made some great moves. I think he's shown a lot of courage in how to handle Kimbrell. He's given him the respect as a veteran that he is, but he's also not willing to lose a game to try to stick with Craig Kimbrell and work on his psychology. Again, I thought yesterday in that game, he got the first couple guys out. And then, he got 2 people on. He was walking and he was losing his control. And, I think Rossi felt it was that point in the game where we could actually lose this game here if I keep him in. Let me go get Jeffers and see if we can pull this thing out. But, I just think, the Cubs, we're going to find out who they really are. We're almost halfway through the season here. Still a lot of games left. And Shawn, hey, don't sleep on Pittsburgh because they just swept the Brewers.
Pittsburgh is 7-17, bro.
And swept the Brewers. That's what I'm saying. This is just a crazy year.
Yeah, but the Brewers are right above them, 11-15. But you know what? The Brewers, I don't think they have it. You take out two of the big studs that are missing who decided to opt out. I don't think they'll have the firepower down the stretch. I just don't think they'll have the firepower. So I think Milwaukee's out. And again, the Cubs are very fortunate right now to they got Cincinnati and they have Detroit. Both teams are 11-15 right now, and they have a much easier schedule. Hey, Larry, good to have you back.
Yeah, sorry again, man. This is crazy. I haven't had this before. Guys, you asked about David Ross before it kicked out last time,
Mm-hmm.
and I think David really has provided that extra spark that a lot of people thought the Cubs might have needed. You remember late in the Madden era, things didn't seem quite the same. I think Ross has done that. I think Ross has given them a new life, a new breath, something new for them to get fired up about. Sometimes adding new energy. We hear about this in business. We hear about this in sports. Theo Epstein said that his introductory news conference that he thought every 10 years there should be a change in leadership in his position. Obviously, we're coming up on that. But I remember thinking a lot about Theo's line when he talked about it, in his reasons for leaving Boston. And I kind of thought about that with Ross. Maybe just something new, a new energy, a new way to look at things. Just even if it isn't massive, I think it really did have an effect. And I think it has caused this Cubs team, who may not necessarily have everything clicking on all cylinders right now, to be the top of the National League. I don't think, and I think, Shawn, I remember also hearing you saying David Ross being the MVP of the team. I could very much agree with that as well. I think what David's done has been, phenomenal. I think he's been able to earn the trust of some of his players. Remember opening night where he left Kyle Hendrickson? That might have been a case where maybe he gets pulled. Didn't happen this time. David sticks in there. These are little things you do through the season that can really help out.
David Ross, and to me, I think it's more of his style. I had mentioned it while you're reconnecting, is he got him accountable. He's holding these players accountable. The little things that a coach once told me, a colleague of mine said, if you take care of all the little things, there are no big things. And right now, the Cubs are not beating themselves. Okay, stupid errors, base running gaffes, they're not doing that. Okay, the last year or two, you would have seen that, and he's nipped that in the bud. All right, because you understand that you go back and he's going to give you that look, or he's going to have a talking to you. And let's keep it 100, Larry. The Cubs still have a very, very, very talented team. So just because Baez is at the Mendoza line and Bryant's 177 and Rizzo's is at 213, doesn't mean those dudes can't turn it around. You got a guy in Javi Baez who was an MVP candidate, a second place MVP. An MVP in Chris Bryant, a guy who could be in the conversation every year in Rizzo, a guy who was in the conversation before he hurt his hamstring in Contreras. You have an extremely talented team. And I think you talk about that new focus, that new energy. I think that is exactly what they needed. And this team, when they get healthy and they get on track, they could be really, really dangerous, especially if they handle Detroit and Cincinnati in these next 6 games. They go 5 out of 6. And you create a little more space and you get some confidence back and you buy time for Chris Bryant to get healthy and everybody to get off the schneid. This Cub team can really do some damage in the late run of the season and in the postseason.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Shawn. These guys have been there before. They've done it before. It's kind of similar to what the Blackhawks were going through. They had guys who had been there before. So even though Vegas was the better team without a doubt, the Blackhawks still got a game out of it, and they still pushed Vegas to the absolute limit. I think the Cubs are a very talented team. I think they are benefiting from playing in a division this year that's got a lot of issues. You got the COVID Cardinals and their nonsense that they had, and they driving rental cars all over the country to play games. You got Pittsburgh, who's struggling like crazy. So, I definitely think the Cubs have benefited from playing in a very soft division this year as well. Larry, What are your thoughts overall kind of on that division that the Cubs are playing in? And what is Craig Kimbrell's role going to be going forward?
Well, I think the division has been a lot less than we thought it would be. I think you were wondering Milwaukee had some changes. They really haven't come back from there. Cincinnati's been a disappointment. I think the Cubs going in there and doing as well as they did that first series kind of knocked them back, and they really haven't been able to get anything going since then. What I think Craig Kimbrell's role will be determined by Craig Kimbrell. Let's just say he gets effective again. Let's just say he starts pitching really well again. Maybe he becomes the Cubs closer. Maybe Jeffress becomes your guy who's the middle innings guy. He's your 6th, 7th, and 8th guy to really be effective when it comes to shutting teams down and setting up Kimbrell. That's going to be the most interesting thing for me. And here's a name for you guys not to forget. That's Jose Quintana.
My man, Jose, huh?
Not pitched yet. He could be your trade deadline acquisition. He could be your guy that ends up coming in here and really making a massive impact on the Cubs. And really, that's a whole nother pitcher. It's a whole nother starter. Remember, you still have a little bit of a question when it comes to who. Yeah, I think it's big with Jose. I think he could be a guy that turns this team from being a playoff team to contender for the World Series. Right now, you have some questions at the end of that rotation. You know, Alec Mills has been affected, but he's had
we have a little more audio difficulties with our guy Larry Hawley.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Listen, we got to go to break. So listen, on the other side of the break, we're going to talk. Jason and I we're going to talk a little Bears football. Yes, ooh, I got him fired up. You saw it. Yeah, I got Jay got fired up over there, boy. Listen, don't go anywhere, folks. Bear conversation coming up next. And don't forget, if you're watching us on Facebook Live or if you're watching us on the app, leave a question or comment. David Burns has been commenting. All right, Armando Lara Jr. has been commenting. Comment, leave us a comment. We'll talk about it on the other side of the break. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
Now the 1-2. Schwarber drives one in the air, deep right center. Back goes Robert. This ball's got a chance. Gone. 2-run homer, Kyle Schwarber. Cubs lead 2-1.
Crosstown rivalry action on Sunday. The Cubs pick up the win 2-1 the final over the White Sox. Kyle Schwarber's 2-run homer in the 6th. The difference maker on the Cubs radio network. Yu Darvish improved to 5-1 with the win. He struck out 10 in his career-high 5th consecutive win. For the White Sox, Dylan Cease suffered the loss. He drops to 4-2. At Bears training camp, receiver Allen Robinson hurt his ankle on Friday. He sat out Saturday. That's when the team held a scrimmage. High marks for Nick Foles coming out of Saturday's practice. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
School goes on.
And Staples has everything you need to start the year right.
From notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to masks.
And all at amazing prices. This week, select one-subject notebooks and Staples 2-pocket paper folders are just 10 cents each.
Select notebooks and folders for a dime. That really is amazing.
Plus, you can shop in-store or pick up curbside. School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 8/22. In-store only. Limit 6. While supplies last. Curbside available in most stores.
Indeed knows that for any business, your next step is the most important one, like hiring someone who can make a real impact. Indeed can help you find high-impact hires faster, without any long-term contracts, and you pay only for what you need, thanks to our super flexible payment options. So why not take that next step with Indeed? Get started with a free $75 credit for your first job post and get in front of more quality candidates. Go to Indeed.com/high-impact. That's Indeed.com/high-impact. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago with our guest filling in right now, Jason Palmer from the hottest show on SportsZone Chicago. What's up, cuz? As he gets prepared for his show tonight, and he's got a fitness model, Latina, all right, fitness model.
Yep.
As I might have to tune into that one for real.
Yeah, man. I told him, I said, JoJo, you're gonna increase my ratings by tenfold.
Bingo. But that's good stuff, man. We're really happy that you're on board with us, and we are so proud of the work you and Lance are doing, man. You guys are getting some great guests. You're getting great, people are wanting to see those, and not just live. You get a good viewership live, but then in the second life when people go back and they listen to it, all the views you guys get, man. You guys are hot. You're on fire, like Missy said. I'm on fire. So we love it.
It's been great, man. It's been great. And again, thanks to you and Maya for believing in us and giving us a platform, and Ivan for helping us out. He had to step in one day. So it's been a team effort, and Lance and I are continuing to grow as a team and learn how to do more stuff for the show. And, I think it's really important right now, given everything that's going on in the world right now, Shawn. I'm up here in Wisconsin, in Kenosha County, and we all heard about what happened up here yesterday. So, I think what we're doing on this platform is giving a lot of people relief. So, shout out to everybody on SportsZone Chicago.
Yeah, man, we're glad to have you, buddy. We really, really are. You and Lance. Let's talk a little Bears. Let's talk Bears football, baby. Let's do it. The Bears had 9 tests yesterday. We talked about this in the top of the morning. 9 times. Your son's been absent from school 9 times, Mrs. Bueller. And 9 tests that were taken by the players and staff that were administered were returned or came back falsely positive, and that put a scare through the organization, through the players. But we talked about it in the top of the morning segment. What about the families? What about the families? Yeah. You got a wife and kid, or a girlfriend and a child. What do? Like, honey, I just got tested positive for COVID. Get your ass out of the house is what she's gonna say. Me and the baby ain't going anywhere. Maybe because everyone doesn't live in Chicago. Everyone doesn't have people in Chicago. They don't have families in Chicago. Where do you want them to go? You get out, you go, and and so it really could have caused a lot. And so my question to you is this. What do you think they're going to do moving forward? Because if this happens, if you do this on a Friday or Saturday before the game, and certain players have to because of a false test, man, that's affecting playoff positioning. That's affecting people's money.
Yeah,
it's affecting coaches' careers.
Well, so here's the thing, Shawn. I don't think it's a matter of if, it's when. I think, again, I've always said from the beginning of this thing that they should not be playing sports probably in general, but especially football, the most contact of the contact sports. I think it's a really bad idea. And I just think there are too many things you can't control. First of all, I think the testing company that they're using, you need to either look for another testing company or get these people like, hey, man, we can't be having these false positive tests. I'm not a scientist, so I don't know how the tests work, but that can be devastating for a team. And,
Jay, here to answer your question about the test. So Jason Leisure was a guy that we talked about it earlier. So what happened was there's a test. They put in the nasal swab. Mm-hmm. So they do that daily. Okay. They do that daily. So they, Q-tip to the brain.
Right.
So they do that. But he said sometimes on Sundays they'll use a mouth swab, and that's what they used yesterday. So I'm like, okay, let's not use that test anymore.
Right.
I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV, but let's not use that test anymore.
Yeah.
You know how many problems you cause, the panic that you cause for the various players and or staff that were called positive, that had a positive result. Because who's the first person you got to call? You got to call the wife. You got to call the mother of your child if you're not your wife, because you have a young, her, and What if your grandparents are living with you, her parents or your parents, or your child's going to be a little more at risk? Think of all the issues that it caused. They can't have this, man.
Right, I agree. They definitely have to tighten this up. And here's the other thing, Shawn. And here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. I'm gonna go there because I'm one of them. What are you gonna do if you get a false positive from members of the officiating crew? They don't have replacement crews in place, Shawn. They don't have replacement crews in place this year. And what they're doing with the NFL officials is they're doing them by region. So, because officials live all over the country. But instead of them sending them on their normal schedule like they would every year, you kind of send them in different places. You're basically going to have a crew that's kind of local working together. Now, let's say you get 2 or 3 false positives on that crew. They got to shut a whole crew down. They can't bring in another crew on short notice from all over the country. They're only using a certain amount of crews as it is. So what are you going to do then? You going to postpone a football game? That is the fear that I have, Shawn, as an official, that it's going to be the officials who get either a positive test or a false positive test, and it's going to throw this whole thing out of sync.
You think they're going to have to get replacement crews then?
Okay, so remember when we did the replacement officials a few years ago when the real officials went on strike? Woo! That was a problem. So now we're going to bring in replacement officials who haven't even been able to work a college game this season, who are going to be completely rusty. It's just not a good recipe, Shawn. I fear for the NFL this year. I do not want them to play this schedule, but as a sports journalist, I want them to play the schedule. And as a fan, I want to see it. But this thing is going to get very complicated. And the fact that they're not doing a preseason at all for the players and the coaches, I'm afraid.
And the officials?
And the officials, I think we're going to see a rash of injuries due to that. I think you're going to see some terrible sloppy play with penalties, because we see it in the preseason every year. It's a bunch of penalties called because guys are not in sync. I just think this thing is going to be an absolute train wreck. But, it is going to go forward.
But then again, what do we know?
Right, that's true. What do we know? I just don't see how this is going to work. But, yeah, I've got some concerns, Shawn. I definitely have some concerns. But, and that's not even talking about the Bears yet. We ain't even got to them.
Yeah, we're talking about the actual team. We're talking about the auxiliary things around the team, around the game. So, but yeah, so let's talk about the Bears. Let's talk about it. For me, the biggest thing is this. We know what the biggest thing is, but it's the second biggest thing is this offensive line.
Yeah.
Their ability to vibe. All right, to vibe with each other. You got to replace. First of all, you got 2 tackles who come off really bad seasons. Okay, they got to get back on track. I'm not going to say that Charles Leno sucks or Bobby Massey sucks, because 2 years ago they were good. Mm-hmm. So last year they weren't as good. So now where are they? We're going to find out. Hopefully we find out. We get a much better understanding of who they are and what types of players they are. So when people say, "Well, Charles Leno sucks and Bobby Massey sucks," well, 2 years ago they didn't suck. They were serviceable.
Can I say one thing about that 2 years ago? What were they doing? What were the Bears doing more 2 years ago that they weren't doing last year?
Running the ball.
That's why you weren't seeing Charles Leno Jr. or Bobby Massey being on an island. You know what I'm saying? Being exploited. Like that's the reason.
Ivan, you lead me right into my point when I talked about you tell these guys we're running the ball X amount of times, and so it could be 20, 25, 30, whatever it is you're running. So now you get into a mindset like I am going to mash you. Mm-hmm. Hey, you, me and you, 25 and minimum 20. So man, I'm telling you, my offensive lineman, I play with some nasty sons of guns, boy. And they were telling you are my beep today. You are my beep all day long. And I hear them. I'm in the backfield. I hear them, and I'm just chuckling because they weren't kidding.
Don't get them angry.
They weren't kidding. They were not kidding. That you are my beep today. All day long, you're going to be my beep. I'm telling you, because I'm going to move you wherever the hell I want to move you. We're going to run this ball. That's an attitude. That's a mentality. And then when they do pass, imagine you get mauled by this lineman because he's moving you and running the ball. Now you got to pass. You got to pass rush against him. He's already got confidence. and God forbid he locks you up, you're done. And he pancakes you. There's a mentality that you got to get these offensive linemen that you got to get them into, and not running the ball doesn't put you in the mentality that you need to be in. It needs to be that attack mode at all times.
And it keeps the defensive line off balance. It keeps the defense off balance, period. Because you can't have guys like, oh man, they can't run the rock. We know what to do. So they're just like, rear their ears back and go after them. You can't have that type of pressure on your tackles. You can't continue to have that type of pressure on any unit on your team. Especially the offensive line, because eventually those little cracks become, wide open holes, and that defense will just keep, going after the weakness.
Well, and to add to that, and I'll ask you guys this as well, because, this is the new NFL, but one of the things I said, the Bears should do is you need a fullback. I know we've tried to pretty much eliminate the position in the sport in 2020, but I still like a fullback. And especially when your offensive line is already suspect, I don't see why you can't have more schemes with a fullback in there to provide that extra blocker. If you're going to be so pass happy, you're going to have to run some different formations. You're going to need a blocking running back or a fullback in there. And the fullback can also help you with the running game. If you're going to run the ball, if you need to pound that rock. Did they even have a fullback on the roster last year?
No,
yeah.
JP Holtz, who was also their leading tight end. No, was it JP Holtz, Shawn? Or was it no, I don't think it was JP Holtz.
It might have been.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing, and this is what I don't get. When you bring a fullback in, okay, unless here's what it's telling you. I'm running the ball down your God blessed throat.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I'm telling you. Okay. Unless you got Tom Rathman and some other big time fullbacks who are able to do that, we're running the ball down your throat.
Mm-hmm.
That sets tone. Sets the tone for the offensive line, because they know they're running the ball down your throat, but also sets the tone for a defensive line. And so right now, I want my guys to be on attack mode if I'm the offensive line coach. So now what do? So then you fire your old offensive line coach, because 2 tackles haven't had their career worst seasons. You lose your heart and soul of the offensive line and Kyle Long in the right guard position. You don't know whether your left guard and your center are going to be your left guard and your center, or your center and your left guard, or vice versa and vice versa. You don't know what's going on. So you got a line that's in disarray, and then you fire the guy because you guys wanted to do something with these. There's a whole bunch of moving parts here.
Mm-hmm.
So now you bring in another guy. Well, they have to learn new terminology, or did they have Castillo? Did he have to learn the terminology that was used prior? I don't think that's going to be the case. So if they have to learn new terminology, is he going to bring different blocking schemes, or are they going to keep the same blocking schemes? There's a lot that you didn't need to do that. You did that for PR purposes and firing someone's head needed a roll.
Yep.
And the offensive line coach, he was the guy apparently. Him and the offensive coordinator, their head needed a roll. If you don't run the ball, this team's not going to do well.
I agree. And Shawn, here's the other thing too. Without a preseason, which is when the offensive line usually gels together, you got a new offensive line coach. We don't know what the scheme is going to be. They probably are not going to use a fullback. The coach doesn't like running the ball in general. This is why I'm not optimistic about this team this year. I'll just say it now. I just think there are too many factors involved where they needed too much work offensively that unfortunately COVID is struck and you don't have a preseason to practice any of this stuff. They're going to be in the same shape they were last year.
Yeah, I agree. And guys, we're joined by Jason Palmer here to close out the show right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Go ahead, Ivan.
I was going to say, I understand where you're coming from, Jason, because I didn't think they put enough playmakers on that offensive side of the ball to have us believe anything different. But I'll say this, that I do have a little faith in them, and it's because of that defense. Mm. Now, my biggest key is health. It's flat out health, because if you could stay healthy with that defense, and you got a guy like Khalil Mack, who doesn't like speaking to the media, who doesn't like giving bulletin board material, coming out and saying that this team, that they're out pretty much, that they're out there for blood. Like, this team is probably the best unit he's been around in so many words. You know what I'm saying? So I think that defense keeps this offense in plenty of games now. It's just, can you execute with a half field? You know what I'm saying, Matt Nagy? Can your unit get you in positions to score touchdowns and not field goals? Because we know if you string together, I mean, points are points, but at a certain point in the game, those field goals are going to count for nothing.
And can you get that award-winning defense off the field?
Correct.
You know, they can't be playing more than half the game out there. They're going to wear down. You know, we saw that last year. You know, people thought the defense was bad. And I agreed with Shawn a lot last year. There were times when the defense could have helped themselves and gotten off the field, without a doubt. There were times that they just didn't bring it. But there were also times where I thought they were playing a great game, but they just got worn down. Especially that game. What were they in? I think they played in Miami last year. It was real.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's hot. That was the year before. The year before that.
The year before? Okay. Yeah, it's hot in Miami. It's humid down there, man. You got to get them guys off the field. We saw even, you're right, Ivan. That was 2 years ago when the defense really was on par, but they lost that game.
Right.
Because they were just gassed, man.
Don't forget, Miami also has their bench in the shaded area. And they have the visiting bench.
Yeah. You had a bunch of string of injuries. I think Akeem Hicks had like a heat issues. Mac wasn't playing in that game. But that's like, if those issues, added to your point, if those issues happen, like if health issues happen, and you got guys that are going out, do you have enough on offense to get you the win? Do you like, if the defense is struggling, is your offense going to be able to put enough points up to help your team score, or to at least keep it close into the end?
You know, with I don't know about the playmakers, you know, in the wide receiving room. You know, you got Ted Ginn Jr., 33-year-old Ted Ginn Jr., who's still fast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How much can we really expect from him? We have Anthony Miller, who's coming off shoulder surgery. How much can we really expect from him? Okay. Is the shoulder going to pop out again and we lose him for another 3 or 4 weeks and now he's done?
Right.
Okay. We got the rookie speedster. Okay. But you got guys that you don't use. And this is what bugs me.
Yes.
Okay. Riley Ridley.
I was just about to say that.
These guys, okay, they played in the SEC, which in my opinion is the best top to bottom conference of college football.
Mm-hmm.
They're part of a team that went to the national championship game. These are ballers. Let them play, but ask them to do what they do best.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't ask Riley Ridley to run a 9 or get behind a cornerback. That's not his thing. Don't ask Javon Wims to run a goal route. It's not his thing. Do what benefits them. And this is what bothers me about Nagy, is that he doesn't do that. Everybody's got talents. You know, if you judge an elephant's ability to climb a tree, he's going to be an idiot and a failure. Okay? You know, he doesn't climb trees. That's not what they do. They'll run over trees, they'll uproot trees, but they're not climbing trees. So don't ask a God-blessed elephant to climb a tree. Don't ask these receivers to do things they're not good at doing. You have guys who are route runners. Make them run routes. Okay? Make them gain separation on a dig, on a curl, on a post corner, on a comeback, on a drag route, okay? On a whip route or disco route, whatever you want to call it. Make them get separation there by running good routes and then make plays afterwards. So if they get tackled 2 yards after, fine. But it was a 5-yard catch. It was a 5-yard catch. 2 yards after, that's 7 yards. It's 2nd and 3. Playbook's wide open.
Right. I mean, you know, we talked about playmakers, Ivan, as well. And, you know, I think you can get playmakers out of special teams players too. I do think, you know, that's where Ted Ginn Jr. is going to come into play. I think that's where Cordero Patterson is going to kind of come into play. The Bears are going to need special teams to be really special as well, because they're going to have to really kind of set this offense up in positions where they can kind of score. I mean, what's your thought on that, Ivan?
Oh, I think the special teams is a must. I mean, and not necessarily. I mean, I'm hoping for a return or two. You know, that's fine. But turnovers on special teams, guys being in position on special teams. You know what I'm saying? Guys staying in their lanes, guys containing the returners. No mistakes, what have you. And if you want to go to the main point of special teams, the kicker. We need the kicker and the kicking team to be on point this year. We don't need somebody where like I was pointing to, I talked about it a lot, that Charger game last year. Eddie, kick a field goal, make a field goal, we win the game. Make a field goal, we win the game. You know what I mean? You can't have mistakes like that. And because we trust this defensive unit so much, you know what I mean? We trust them so much that we kind of hope that they're going to go out there and do what we think that they could do, what they did 2 years ago. But the fact is that there's two more phases of the game that haven't been living up to their end of the bargain. You know what I mean? And I think you're damn right. Like, special teams is a must in order for this team to find success. Another guy, as far as playmakers, and I keep hearing about him, Darnell Mooney. Everybody or every time I read something or hear something, it's about him making plays and having the chip that you expected. Oh my gosh, Anthony Miller to have that kind of a chip, that kind of a ego that you need as a receiver, if you will.
Well, Anthony Miller's got the chip. He's got the injury issue to go along with that chip.
Sometimes I don't see it out on the field. Sometimes it's just me. Sometimes I don't see it out on the field.
It could be because I've seen it. I've seen it in my life. I love the way his attitude, his swag. But when you're hurt, you don't have that swag when you're hurt. You don't have that. You're not that confident when you're hurt. Huh?
T.O. played in the Super Bowl with a broken leg.
Not everybody's T.O., bro. Not everybody's T.O. Like we talked about, not every good hitter is a Abreu. Not every wide receiver is a T.O.
That's true. That's true. I mean, the Bears, they're gonna be the Bears again. I'm kind of tuned out of football because I just don't see how it's going to happen.
Right.
I am trying to still prepare myself for it, and see what this Bears team can do. But, I mean, it's just a lot of just so many issues. And then, now they've announced too this week. Did they announce it this week or a few days ago they're not going to have the fans?
Oh, no. Hold on, player.
Miami said.
Miami.
Oh.
Miami said they're going to have fans in the stands for opening day, or it's going to be week 2 because they play on the road first. But Miami is going to have fans in the stands,
and I think the Chiefs as well. I think they said that they won't start, but they'll start adding them after week 1 or something to that effect.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the Bears have said they're not, though. Correct.
Correct.
I don't think Lori Lightfoot will let them.
Man, should be blocking them by herself.
Just laying down. Just lay down.
Stand there with the look.
Right.
No, that's So that's crazy. Well, listen, guys, we had a great show. Man, I want to thank all the guests who came in. Joe Phillips, who sits in with us first hour. Kenneth Davis, who sits in with the second hour. I want to thank Scott Merker for calling in and hanging with us from MLB.com, who covers the White Sox. Jason, I want to thank you for calling in or for joining us. That's awesome. And got to thank Larry Holly for coming on and talking Cubs with us. I want to thank my associate technical producer Elliot Baez, and I want to thank my guy Ivan Vargas. I want to thank my social media guy himself, Clarence Council. Guys, all you guys, thank you very much. You guys made it a phenomenal show. Jason is going to get ready to go. Get ready for your show tonight. Again, who's on your show tonight?
Oh, man, we got Kendall Gill, NBC Sports Chicago Bulls analyst. We're going to talk Bulls, the number 4 draft pick, and their ongoing coaching search. And we're going to love talking to Kendall and talking to him about some Illini basketball too, I think, actually. So that'll be fun. And then we also have from the Bigs, we got Eugene and Terrence coming on. We're going to talk Cubs Sox series. And then we've got the woman that's going to cause a divorce in the Ivan Vargas household, apparently, to hide the Jesus. She's a fitness model. And she's going to come on and talk to us about the representing women of color in those competitions. So it's going to be a lot of fun, man.
Hey, great stuff, guys. So for my co-host in absentia, Maya Akai, and my Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife himself, Ivan Vargas.
They're going to get me in so much trouble, Jason. And also, Byron Leftwich played on a broken leg.
Yeah, but his offensive lineman carried him. His offensive lineman carried him all the way down. He threw a pass.
He still has a play throw. Help me out. Come on. Byron Leftwich, the man.
He did at Marshall.
Sure did.
So Ivan.
No excuses for Anthony.
Guys, I'm your boy, the Superback Shawn Sierra. We're going to take a 46-hour break, and we'll see you on the other side of the break Wednesday, 9 a.m. to noon. Actually, a 45-hour break, pardon moi. Wednesday, 9 a.m. to noon, Central Standard Time. Until then, I got 5 words for you. First 3, download the app. And last word, we out.